Yeah, I definitely agree. Let's go ahead and we'll start that match. We'll see if we can get that larval tier square to show up on that board. 10-second
Mm-hmm.
countdown for them to know that, okay, prep timer starts here in just a moment. And 3, 2, 1. Center square being 2 death birds and 1 death right bird in the base game as center square. So that's really a big responsibility here for the base game players, making sure that they plan for that, you know,
Mm-hmm.
either with holy pots, either with a holy weapon. I think the black steel great hammer has a little bit of holy on it, actually. So wouldn't be the worst choice, but we do have great stars, as we just saw on
Mm-hmm.
Zoodle's screen. One of the classes has great stars. That's probably one of the best weapons you can go for here in base game bingo. It is smithing, though, so you are going to have a good route for smithing stones to even make that work.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see
Definitely.
here. We'll pop open the post game board here a little bit so that the viewers can see the squares a little bit better as well. So yeah, we do have larval tiers actually here. We have that as a corner square here, inner corner square, but it's a co-op one though, not the single player one. So that's going to be interesting again, seeing who does most of the legwork for that. We've seen the DLC players do 6 or 7 larval tiers and just be like, okay, now you guys go and grab the last one, base game players. And sometimes it's been like the base game players get all 3, and then
Mm-hmm.
DLC players just rush the first 5 that they can think of. Rush squares here though, we're looking at. Could be Magma Worm Boss. I could totally see that being a thing here. Black Knife
I guess.
Assassins for sure.
I guess
Uh,
the turtle talismans, right? I think they are
yeah.
pretty early accessible as well, which is interesting because the right next to it is also Kill Chief Bloodfiend,
Hmm.
and that's pretty much in the same direction as the DLC turtle talisman, as far as I can remember.
Yeah. No, it is.
So
It
that could be
is.
kind of interesting combo square.
Trying to see if there's anything else that connects with that. I mean, you could try kill a boss after inflicting 3 different statuses. Chief Bloodfiend is pretty susceptible to bleed. We could probably use like a smithing weapon or whatever. Apply some rot. Apply some poison. That would be a nice little 3-piece little combo there you could do for sure. But the popular one here, definitely that has been on the weekend, has been Red Wolf and Red Bear combo square. Has been a big one because it shows progression to Skidoo Altus, it shows progression to Riot Lucaria, and just like has a lot of early pressure as well. Because you get a lot of money
Yeah.
for the base game players. You get like I want to say it's 12,000 from Red Wolf. I don't fully remember. It's a good amount of money though, especially for a base game player. I mean, 10,000 runes for a base game is huge. Um,
Yeah,
so
definitely.
for the DLC players, getting Red Wolf isn't too bad. They get a good amount of money out of that as well. So that kind of just sets them up nicely, financially for the rest of the run.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
Yeah,
good.
I like that.
Yeah. So we'll see how they start out here. We have 10 more seconds. Everyone's hovering at the door or their fog wall, just staring away. Looks like that. Okay, so Zoodle did pick the Great Star class, and CBD picked Venomous Fangs, which I personally really like as well. I do like the Venomous Fangs. But immediately Blanks goes, okay, you know what? I'm going straight towards Round Table. I'm going to go grab a weapon here, see what the Maidens have to offer. Possibly some good RNG. It doesn't look
Yeah.
like it. All smithing weapons. You get a Magma Whip. So nothing great here. So now Blanks already knows, okay, I checked. Nothing great in the DLC at all. I'm not going to go back there unless I have to upgrade. And I'm going to go check for that Great Katana, potentially.
I wonder if Mitch is gonna be going for the turtle talisman instead then, since I guess he would have a little bit of a time advantage. No, but
Yeah, I'm not sure. But for Mitch here, I guess he's grabbing the Blade of Mercy, though. Is there talismans on the board? I don't see talismans at all. So I guess he's just grabbing this just because it's something that he just likes to get. Yeah, I don't see any reason to go for Blade of Mercy. Maybe he just grabbed that because he likes it. It's gotta be. That's gotta be the only reason. Is going to be doing the graveyard skip here now. Very nice skip here from Mitch. Going to be skipping past the 3-path cross, going straight towards Egon and that pillar pathway where TLA is instead. Going to try and get to, I'm assuming Skidoo Altus as fast as possible. Maybe set up for Red Bear as soon as possible. But doesn't get to do the backhand blades check or the Great Katana check. So he's missing out on 2 weapon checks here, maybe hoping that Round Table just has them because he hasn't checked yet, but Blanks has. So it might be a little bit of a rude awakening for Mitch, realizing that Roundtable doesn't really have much to offer, and he missed out on 2 weapon checks after that.
Yeah, definitely. I'm curious to see what the base game players are gonna be going for first as well. I guess there's not really like a total rush square for the base game, like not the classic ones like cave or similar.
Yeah.
So I wonder if they'll actually do the red wolf or
I'm
maybe more of a
thinking Black Knife
type thing.
Assassins, you know, going straight towards that what's it called, Ordina, and just having them gravity kill themselves. The Black Knife Assassins, I could totally see that being an option. Otherwise, Magma Worm, I could see that being an option as well, as rushing Kaled, going straight for that Magma Worm kill, because it is also a katana check. And even with the base game, the DLC weapons are mixed into the base game randomizer as well, so even the base game players could get a Rakshasa Great Katana, or you know, just a normal Great Katana, so that still would be a nice check as well.
I mean, that would be insanely strong. Some of the DLC weapons are pretty crazy in the base game, like
Yeah.
like Falks, for example, as well, is kind of insane at times.
Yeah, I mean, Falx being probably like the strongest weapon in the DLC is like insane in the base game for sure. I agree. I don't personally though, I have a little bit of a weird, I don't like it that much. The moveset just feels a little too slow for dual wielding like 2 swords. I don't know, it just feels just a little too slow sometimes, the R1s, to where I goof up the combos sometimes, where I like roll to I roll out of my attacks and stuff.
Yeah, that's very fair. I think the thing I like most about Falks is actually the Ash of War. That one seems pretty crazy.
Yeah. If you have the opening for that, especially in NPC fights, it shreds, which is really, really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we see Skidoo Altus here now from Mitch, already a little bit ahead of Blanks because he did do that graveyard skip, where Blanks did grab the Grace right outside of Castle Ence's. So I'm not sure if he's prepping for anything besides maybe that, just like a Grace for the Death Knight, because there is Death Knight in row 5, column 4 here. So he's like, okay, I'll have that Grace right in front of Castle Ence's just to make sure that I can, you know, pivot to that one if I ever need to. And he gets a Skidoo fragment from that as well. And now going as well towards Skidoo Altus, though. I do want to see what Mitch does for a weapon now, because he doesn't know what is available. And it looks like that Blank's got the Moonveil, actually, from that Great Katana check. So he's running Moonveil now for the DLC.
Not bad. Yeah. I guess on the base game side, we can also see that they both chose something different.
Yeah.
Zuro is going for the Black Knife Assassin square, which is pretty nice. It's on a diagonal, right? And diagonal squares are always very nice to get. And since there's that nice cheese that he's showing off right now, where the assassins just jump off, that's a pretty good early game square.
Yeah, has to be a little careful here. I do think he's in one-shot range. So he has to just be a little careful here when he tries to cheese them, because sometimes they do the like jumping smash attack. And you don't want to get hit by that. So the first one is dead, though. When you see those glove wars pop up, that's when that Black Knife Assassin's killed. So he already has one down, trying to get that second one to come over to the edge here and fall off as well. And then, yeah, first square is going to be for Zoinxz. And it's going to be a nice little position on the board for sure.
Yeah, and CBD meanwhile is, I think, going to the Magma Worm. So one of the squares that you said might be rushed early on.
Yeah, there we go. First square marked Black Knife Assassins. Yeah, Magma Worm here, if it does get picked up here by CBD, will be a nice block on that row too. There is still also kill both balls on the board, so I think that's like 2 things as to why Blanks picked up that Grace right in front of Castle Ence's. There's balls, but there's also the Death Knight. So a multi-purpose Grace pickup, which is really, really nice. And looks like, okay, Mitch did pick a weapon now. I can't keep... Okay. Oh, he's going for the 4th Greatsword. Okay. Because I think that's like his only option now. He's like, all right, fine, I'm just going to go with this, I guess. Because, yeah, he did miss those 2 other weapon checks.
At least it has bleed, right? So that's always nice. Some kind of status effect. And since it's a smithing weapon, you can put an Ash of War on it if you find one.
Yeah.
Or some greases, like a freeze grease, if you find one of those. It's very nice.
I'm assuming Savage Lion's Claw could go on this, but also I don't know. There are some smithing weapons that are unique to where they can't, have an Ash of War changed out. So I'm not sure if that's one of these situations with this weapon, because it does have a unique charge dart too, actually, with the forked greatsword, where it shoots out a small needle instead of having a sword swing. So maybe that's unique enough to where it also can't be changed Ash of War wise. Looks like that Mitch currently is just grabbing some Skidoo fragments here real quick before going into Bonneville. And Blank's working straight towards that turtle talisman. Mitch died to gravity. Oh, no.
Uh-oh. That's not good. I guess this is on the way to Bonnie Village?
Yeah, I believe so. Let me just check here something real quick. Hold on just a moment.
Yeah,
that is the way on to Bonneville,
fighting. Yeah. So I wonder why he's going there. I guess just making more progress towards Shadowkeep.
Yeah. Most likely, yeah. Grabbing Skidoo fragments. He gets attacked again by the Labyrinth here, so he probably misses out on that Skidoo fragment one more time. Okay, that works better. Okay, good. And yeah, so Turtle Tasman is going to be a pickup here from Team Zoinxz. Yet again, 2-0 right now on the board. 2 corner squares, which is really, really huge. So rushing that's very, very nice for them. Rot Grease on the Magma Worm here for CBD gets a nice stagger. Going to also get Deadly Poison because of the Venomous Fangs here. So actually a really, really nice kill here from CBD. And as I said, also going to be a nice Katana check to see if he gets something worthwhile. Best case scenario, going to be a great Katana.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I mean, that would set him up very well. At some point, switching off those Venomous Fangs could be nice, and then just using them for some poison, and then switching to a different weapon.
Yep.
Usually works very well.
Yep. Yeah, and that rot is definitely taken away. This is like one of those things I was talking about yesterday when Lobos was really sticking to those rotten weapons, rotten battle hammer, rotten duelist axe. And I was like, these are always great choices, because if you have fights like this Magmorm that just keeps running in circles, you still at least have some damage that's coming out, because you aren't even attacking, it's just the rot ticking away. But it helps out a lot, especially in longer fights.
Yeah, definitely. It can be so frustrating if you don't have a status effect like that and they're just running and running away.
Yeah. It's the absolute worst. It gets very frustrating for sure, especially on the Magma Worm or like Fire Giant, who just keeps rolling away. Having at least that the rot, you're like, okay, this is fine. This is great. This is okay. Nice jumping attack here. Magma Worm should be down here very soon. I'm trying to keep an eye on it for sure, because I want to see what weapon does drop here for CBD. There it is, the Magma Worm. Going to be marked. And we have Great Katana. The Great Katana does drop here for CBD. So that is a huge pickup. It is still a smithing weapon, which is the only thing that isn't too great. But still, that's a huge pickup and still for him. And yeah, 2 for 2 now, CBDriz and Zoinxz. Mitch grabbing those Curseblade Assassins in the DLC.
Yeah, it's also, honestly, that square would scare me a lot, because those Curseblade Assassins, they're really mean. That moveset is so confusing.
Yeah, I remember like first playing the DLC, and I felt so overwhelmed from the very beginning, because I was like, they're moving too much. I don't know what's going on. They're just moving too much.
Yeah.
Mitch here trying to fight Logar Beastclaw. Does get killed though. Let me see. There is Logar actually on column 2, row 3. So looking at possibly trying to push that column 2 a little bit for his team. Sadly does die though. Blank's here currently working on balls now, equipping a bunch of his weapons and having Moonveil. I do think in this case, Blank's going for Moonveil is a huge advantage compared to Mitch, who has only the forked greatsword.
Definitely. I mean, even though the forked greatsword has bleed, Moonveil also has bleed, right?
Yes.
I've never used it actually.
Yeah, I barely used it either. It wasn't really my favorite. So many people love the Moonveil. I'm like, it's okay.
Yeah.
Nice staggers here, though. And as we see, like, Team Zoinxz really honestly, like, in the same brain as they keep going for the same things. They had Turtle Talismans together. Now they're both doing balls at the same time. Zoodle and Blank's really making sure that they're on the same page. Zoodle here just dealing with his balls a little bit longer than Blank's, because he doesn't have those nice, juicy DLC upgrades like Blanks does. So he has to deal with probably a +0 Great Stars here. But they should get the square very soon. And they'll progress their the good old column 1 here. They have 2 Turtle Talismans and balls, and right after that, they have a couple things on column 1 that could be pretty nice to go for as well. But Zoodle does die to balls. And Mitch died
It's
too.
another season, and still the balls incidents.
Yeah,
They're
balls
still
does
there.
not retire. Balls does not take a break. There is no vacation.
Yeah.
He
And now there's even 2 of them.
yeah, and it's the funny part. It's like it doesn't matter if it's base game or DLC. There's always an incident with balls. They use a menace
I mean,
in
they
both
always deal
versions.
so much damage. Yeah, it's crazy.
And here we have it again. Zoodle going back into the balls fight. Gets that nice stagger going. CBD here now setting up for a somber weapon. Currently in Lake of Rod, grabbing those somber stones 7 and 8. Maybe grabbing some more rock grease just in case. I do wonder which somber weapon though he has tried to pick up. And Zoodle gets one shot, absolutely impaled by that Moonrathel Knight.
Brutal.
And, okay, it looks like that Mitch here just bought some greases from Kale, so I think he is aiming to go for that the 3 status effects kill, most likely on Black Knight Edred with that forked hatchet or forked greatsword.
I guess Zuru might be working now towards the Red Wolf square.
Yeah, they might be
Entering academy
worried.
right now.
Yeah, they might be worried that they might be sniped on that bulls at some point, so they're just, him pivoting off of that just to be safe for now, I think is not a bad idea at all. And like I said, Red Wolf, Red Bear is a very popular combo square. And yeah, Blanks again going there with Zoodle, going to go straight towards that Red Bear fight with that Moonveil. And we have Mitch here now fighting Black Knight Edred with Frost Grease currently on that forked greatsword. I keep wanting to say forked hatchet. And it's actually not a bad weapon either. It's heavy enough to where Edred staggers on each R1. So that's really good for Mitch here. Makes it a lot more manageable than if Edred just keeps on flailing away with his attacks. Already has that Frost proc here. Going to try and get a Rot proc on top of that. And there it is. There is the Rot proc. I'm going to go for the Grease proc now. Hopefully he doesn't deal too much damage before that applies.
Yeah, that must be the most frustrating thing for this square, is if you accidentally deal too much damage and then
Yeah.
you don't get the 3rd status effect. I wonder how often that happens.
He does have it. The numbers do double tick, so he does have all 3 statuses now. All he has to do is kill Black Knight Edred, and he has that 3 status square. That's huge. Lots of money here for Mitch, and also a nice corner square yet again. So now that row 4 is kind of building up for them a little bit here, but as we can see, Team Zoinxz already planning on blocking that row 4 with Red Wolf and Red Bear as a combined square.
Yeah, that's smart, because that row could definitely go out of hand super quickly. I mean, the ritual pots also work together with the Red Wolf boss, since there's a ritual pot in the academy. So if you let them get both of those squares on top of that, then it's a Finger Slayer blade, and nobody ever wants to go to Finger Slayer blade.
Yeah, it's so long. It sounds so easy, right? It's like, oh, just get the Finger Slayer blade. It's like, oh yeah, I can get that. But then you like forget the whole quest line that you have to do to even make that happen. You're like, oh my god, wait, I have to do all of that first before I can even just grab it? Okay, dude.
Yeah, exactly. Which
Silly.
I feel like oftentimes people just leave it open to try to bait their opponent into trying to do the Finger Slayer blade instead, like basically forcing them to block the roll.
Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes you can also surprise them by just getting the bingo.
And there it is, the Red Wolf down for Blanks, by the way. Already has his first half of the square completed, but Zoodle here is still working on that Red Wolf for just a moment. Luckily, even having a +0 weapon, Red Wolf has such low health that the damage is still decent here in this fight specifically. Should be hopefully getting a stagger here very soon. Dust missed that R1. That is awkward. Oh, there it is. Nice stagger. Oh, misses the riposte. That's okay, though.
Oh, that's too bad.
It's so rare to see it on Red Wolf that it's always just such a bummer when someone doesn't get
Yeah.
the riposte.
It's also a little awkward. Like, you have to walk up to his head in a very specific way. Either be like almost in his head or be a little bit in front of him.
Yeah.
It's a very awkward spacing.
Yeah, I always crouch just to make sure that I get it. And there it is, Loger. Okay, Loger being kind of sniped away from Mitch here. Not really. Mitch just worked on it. But there it is, Loger being taken down by Blanks now. And then on top of that, Red Wolf, Red Bear as well taken by Zoinxz here as a team. So now 4-3 right now for Zoinxz. Really kind of running away with this match, to be honest. Getting rid of every single threat that CBDriz has currently put on the board. Blocking out that row 4, blocking out that column 2. Looking really, really good here for CBDriz. Really looking forward towards all those co-op squares that they've been working together combined-wise, like just at the same time. I think has been a really strong strat. And I think Zoodle here going back to balls now.
Yeah, I guess makes sense. He could see it hasn't been done yet. So could basically assume that they're maybe not working on it right now. So give it another try, I guess, and try to build one of the last columns still left. Try to build a threat.
Yeah, the CBD here grabbing the Grace right before Smaragd, and Zoodle's here checking the Ice Rind Hatchet chest, getting the Smith Script axe. Not too great. Not too great.
Honestly, I don't even know if I would have done that check because he has great stars. It's one of the best weapons that you could ever hope for.
Yeah.
I guess the only part is that it's pretty expensive to upgrade and it's smithing, so maybe finding a nice somber axe would still be worth it, but I feel like I would just ignore it and run straight to balls. Another thing I was kind of surprised at is that neither of the base game players have done the Deathrite Birds yet, or the Deathrite Bird and 2 Death Birds. Because you can pretty much do that quite early as well, and Zuda has a very good weapon for them too. For CBD I kind of understand because the Venom's Fang is not the best against the birds.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if there's, besides the Ice Red Hatchet, are there any other good somber axes though?
I mean, Stormhawk.
True.
And of course also the Rose's axe. So I think especially like Stormhawk, of course, has been nerfed a bit, but at least for the early game stuff, it's still great. And Rosa's axe is actually surprisingly strong. I personally really like that weapon. So even though maybe some people think it's mid, it can be pretty strong if used correctly.
If you have like the jar shard and stuff, I think that could be really, really powerful for sure. Zoodle dies to balls again. So we are having a little bit of a balls incident here for Zoodle right now. Gets stomped while he's trying to get the fight going. Golden Hippo here now for Blanks. Very strong. Dude, his Moonveil is doing so much damage here. He does have like the jar shard, I believe, and some nice weapon upgrades to really make these fights very, very quickly.
Yeah, the Golden Hippo is almost down for Blanks. That's crazy. That's one of the boss fights that I just try to avoid at all costs.
Yeah, it takes a good deal to get used to it for sure.
Yeah, the needles in phase 2 are just so annoying to deal with.
Mature grabbing the backside of Shadowkeep's in the range of that anyways type Graces right now, trying to make sure that he maybe has a little bit of map progress versus Blanks. But Blanks are now killing Hippo and just getting past that that front gate instead, not having to go all the way around. Doesn't maybe think it's worth his time right now, and maybe wants to rush some things in Shadowkeep instead. We do have Mesmer here as a co-op square on that column 1, row 5. So he might be eyeballing that with Zoodle here, being like, hey, if you get balls, we can try to really push that column 1. I go for the Deathrite Bird, you go for Fingerslayer Blade. That might be a nice, quick, bingo line for us that is really hard to stop.
I actually really like that idea, yeah. And it once again has that Finger Slayer blade on it, as I said, and you could either actually push for it, or you just basically force the other base game opponent into having to do this super long square while you try to go for majority.
Yeah. Yeah, and as we see just now, yeah, Zoinxz here grabbing that ball square. So then now they have those two squares already in the column 1 line. Anvil Hammer here for CBD, by the way, as a weapon now. That is a nice weapon, but holy, is that expensive to upgrade. Like I mentioned yesterday to some of the new viewers here for Bingo, the heavier the weapon, the more expensive the price on upgrading for each level. And Anvil Hammer, I want to say, is probably one of the heaviest weapons in the game. Giant Crusher is definitely up there as well. And so it's going to cost him a lot to try and get this weapon upgraded. So he might have all the Somber Stones, but it's going to cost him probably around 30 to 35,000 runes probably to get that fully upgraded. The Great Katana costs around, I think, 28,000 for full upgrade. So, and it's definitely heavier than the Great Katana. So yeah, that's going to be a lot of money, especially for base game.
Yeah, and on top of that, you also need a lot of stats for that weapon, right?
Yeah.
So on top of that, you need to level a lot. You need to sacrifice vigor, probably, which can make some of the fights a little bit harder, especially when you're having to deal with some nerves. And I honestly, I would just go with the Great Katana, even if it's not somber and it takes a little bit longer to get the upgrade materials. I do feel like in the long term, it's probably gonna treat you a little bit better.
Yeah. I'm not sure what made him necessarily choose this. This is at least for base game Bingo. It's a bit of a tough choice. It's a very tough choice because you just need so much money for so many different things to even make it work. But hey, if it pays off, that'd be great. I mean, there is a lot of space still on the board for base game, and yeah, I guess we'll see on how it plays out. It does have a lot of poise damage, which is a huge plus for sure. But the strength and faith requirements to be able to wield it, it's just a little bit much is all. But yeah, we'll see. Maybe it works out in this case. We see Chief Bloodfiend here for blanks now, currently in the cave. Mitch here working on backside Shadow Keep. And Zoodle currently on his way to Jarburg, I believe, for ritual pots. So everyone kind of working on separate squares right now, which is definitely not a bad idea.
Yeah. I really like what Blanks is doing now, basically trying to build not only column 1 but also row 1 a little bit to try to confuse the opponent. Oh, what do we have to block? What should we prioritize? So I think that's a really good idea here.
Yeah, just trying to create as much pressure as possible, different pressure points, and then at some point you just kind of pick, being like, okay, I have these 2 or maybe these 3 lines I can kind of force. Which one I'm actually going to do now? And then the enemy player has to be like, okay, well, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I'm not sure which one to go for. Let me just hopefully get the right block in that case. And that's a really nice strategy to put a lot of stress onto the enemy team.
Yeah.
Chief Bloodfiend here, honestly one of my least favorite bosses in the DLC. A lot of his hitboxes seem very weird and clunky. I hate his stomp attack a lot.
Yeah.
And also the weird part is like he's like an absolute giant boss, but when he gets staggered, you can't hit him and get the stagger or the riposte again. Yeah, it's so silly. Like if he staggers, you have to take the riposte, because if you hit him again, you pretty much like shake him out of the stagger pose, which is so just silly for how big he is.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It just doesn't really make sense, but Blanks does take him down and marks another square, and now the other team, CBDriz, has to worry about 2 lines.
Yeah, Zoodle there grabbing one of the ritual pots here in Raya Lucaria right now. Really prepping to just create what seems to be, just like different pressure points. As once they grab this ritual pot square, they might, if they wanted to, they could technically work on column 5 as well, and just have multiple squares as a safe spot. But yeah, it looks like that CBD is working on 3 Crucible Knights here, currently fighting the Everjail Ordovis Crucible Knight. I wonder if there's also... Okay, there isn't. There is also a combined square, which is kill 3 of each Crucible type. That means you'd have to do Ordovis, Siluria, and Devonia. Devonia being in the DLC. I wanted to see if that was on the board, but it's not. It's just the Crucible Knights here in this case. So, interesting. I wonder why he's picking Crucible Knights out of everything.
Yeah, I'm really not sure. Because I feel like there's other things that would make a little bit more sense working on, like some block for either column 1 or row 1. Or, yeah, I don't know. Trying to maybe build their own pressure as well. Like, both column and row 5 are still completely open, so if they did some squares in there and then also try to block Zoinx's pressure with that, they could on top of that maybe also build their own pressure. I'd probably try to concentrate on that, but yeah, I don't know. He probably has a good reason for it.
Yeah, it could be a thing of like maybe he's seeing a thing of like, you know, column 5, if we push that, we're kind of counter pressuring their pressure instead of like, you know, leaning into trying to block them. We'll just ignore that completely and just try and go for our own thing and see if that's just faster. Could be a case as well. And yeah, here we go. He's going to Altus Plateau now. Zoodle here working on Celia Townskip. Blanks currently going for a Death Knight. That's a little surprising. Yeah, going for a Death Knight here now. Everyone's making so like interesting choices here. I don't know. It doesn't feel like everyone has like a plan necessarily of like just pushing a line. They're just doing squares that I think are just the fastest.
Yeah, it could be. I guess for blanks, it does make some sort of sense, just in the sense of like avoiding the other team being able to build pressure as well. So pretty much just blocking it. But I feel like if they just did the Rykard and Mesmer, that would be the same thing, but maybe they think the other team is more ahead on the progress towards it. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm also really not sure, but yeah, it could just be a thing of like blanks being like, okay, we're already 3 squares ahead. They're probably gonna try and block one of those lines. So instead of me trying to progress the line and getting sniped on it, I'm just gonna do random stuff instead that is quick, and that way the chances of me being sniped and wasting my time are like incredibly low. That could definitely be an idea, yeah.
Yeah, I guess since it is so random, yeah, it's pretty unlikely that the other team is doing it, especially while the other, like, their pressure is on the board, right? And Zoinxz is already 3 squares ahead, so right now they can just have that little bit more chill mindset of just grabbing squares up for grabs.
Yep. And Moonville definitely not doing a bad job at all in these fights that we've seen. Golden Hippo went down really quickly. This Death Knight here being micro-staggered by each unsheath. Like this weapon's doing really well here for blanks right now. There it is, another square being marked by Zoodle now. Ritual Pots. That's a 7 to 3 square score now for Zoinxz. Looking really good for Zoinxz right now. Definitely in the driver's seat of this match. Wondering what Zoodle is going to focus on next, though. He does have possible upgrades here for the Great Stars. And it looks like CBD might be focusing on Radahn at this point. And another square for Zoinxz. 8 to 3 now with that Death Knight falling down.
And eliminating all the pressure that CBDriz could build. So it truly is a majority game now. And of course they are, well, and they were 5 squares ahead, now 4, since the CBDriz team just claimed to heal the wounded Kindred of Rot.
Yeah, so now all the pressure is kind of off. You know, there are no bingo lines to really worry about, and this is just turns for blanks and Zoodle into a game of like we just do whatever we want, and that's honestly like that is genuinely a huge pressure kind of off your shoulders, right? As a player, is like, oh, I don't have to worry about any bingo lines anymore. I can just focus on good squares. That is definitely a big deal. So I could totally seeing that being their play style, or just the way they like to play. Together is let's go ahead and rush all the things that stops them from doing a bingo, and then we can just take our time on what we think is the most efficient based on what we currently have. Which is great. Yeah,
I think Zoinxz is playing super well here. really pressuring the other team. And I think now they might be actually going for the Mesmer and Drygot fight, right? Potentially.
Yeah. Could also be. I know Blanks is a little bit prepped for Mesmer here at this point. I could see that Zoodle might go to Volcano Manor here as well, because there is complete an Altus Plateau Hero's Grave, so he could go for Red Wolf here and then straight into Volcano Manor afterwards. Red Wolf of Champions, that is. Yeah, looks like both are actually making their way towards Ancient Dragon Man now. Mitch just a little bit farther ahead, because there is 4. Sorry, that's actually DLC. Sorry, that's base game. I guess they're maybe looking at Deathrite Bird here, possibly racing on the Deathrite Bird for DLC. Yeah.
I think that square would make a lot of sense, yeah, to try and race for that right now. Since for Mitch in this case, it would block column 1, and for Blanks it would build that column a little bit more. And plus also they still have the row 3 as well. So they actually have still multiple bingo threats. And I think just pretty much building on that pressure more and more is the best thing they can do.
And yeah, Savage Lion's Claw here, by the way, on Mitch's weapon, going for that cold affinity. Like I mentioned, wasn't sure if that's going to work out, but apparently it does work out. They're able to put a different Ash of War on the Forked Greatsword, so he has at least a nice bleed and a frost smithing weapon now. So really not that bad compared to the Moonveil at all. And those R1s are doing some really nice work here as well.
I guess Zoro is also going towards Radan right now, though. Oh, CBD dying to Radan. That's unfortunate.
Got a little spin to wind there by Radan. Didn't get the follow-up attack that Radan normally does when he does the shockwave for the first time, where he then slams down. And I think CBD was kind of banking on that animation. And sadly, since that didn't happen, kind of cut out in the open there.
Yeah, it's very confusing because you very much expect that to happen, and then when it doesn't, it throws you off very much.
Ancient Dragon Man here going to be attacked twice, once by Mitch and once by Blanks now as he's falling down the hole. No one doing the cool skip here, by the way. There's a little bit of a cool skip in the Ancient Dragon Man cave where you can skip pretty much half of it. It's a little hard to do, but you can do like a parkour jump straight into the hole instead.
Don't you need a long jump for that, or is it?
No, I think you could just do it normally. You just have to like angle it right is the only thing. It has to be a running jump. But yeah, it's just a little tricky. I think the angle is like the hard part.
Yeah.
But we do have also 3 Remembrance bosses hitless, and this might be something that CBD is trying to work on as well, as trying to be hitless on this Radan fight. That's going to be a little tough, though, here with the Anvil Hammer, I feel like. But also on top of that, I don't know.
I don't think that would be the best square to go for, right? Because it's such a...
Right.
Like, you have to do 3 Remembrance bosses hitless, and I feel like that's such a long square, and you can really trap yourself in those types of squares. Because, like, no matter how good of a hitless runner you are, like, CBD is definitely very, very good at hitless, but put on top of that nerves and maybe at some point the sound of the a square being marked as playing, and it throws you off. And weird things can always happen in hitless. I just feel like it would be weird to go for that when Zoinxz is literally having 2 bingo lines pressuring right now, and they're 4 squares behind on majority as well. I think that would be a very weird choice.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's definitely a little bit slower than I expected, especially because the Anvil Hammer I think is still not fully upgraded. If not upgraded at all. Those R1s seem pretty weak for what they currently are at. Nice stagger here, though, for CBD at this fight. And now Zoodle's going towards the Radan fight as well. Blank's here working towards the Communion Dragon altar, which Mitch is currently arriving at as well. So yeah, I think this might be a little bit of a Deathrite Bird race, which is going to be really interesting to see on whose weapon does better there. Especially because you can't frost or bleed the Death Birds. So in this case, Mitch's weapon is actually inferior in that circumstance. But it looks like he's currently holding on to the Great Katana on his side. That might have been dropped from Ancient Dragon Man. Oh, is that Milady? No. Overhead stance? No, it is Great Katana. Okay.
Yeah, it looks like Great Katana.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I'm curious to see. I mean, so far, Mitch does seem ahead, but of course, if you die 1 or 2 times here, that could still be the deciding factor of Blank's catching up and getting the square instead.
They can do the Sacred on the fork. He could do Sacred on the fork, but I don't know if he has the money for it. He does have the money for it, so he could technically do that as well as an option. And maybe he will. I'm not too sure. He could always switch around if he really needed to. Radon fight here still for CBD. I think he is still currently hitless, especially because like his health is so low that he probably will instantly die anyways if he gets hit.
Yeah. Oh, definitely, yeah.
Just has to be careful that he just gets those safe punishes and that's it. Also, yeah, the Anvil Helm are taking a lot of stamina to swing each time, so he can't really punish that much. In there, he gets hit.
Oh yeah, that was too early. I'm pretty sure that attack is so weird though. Oh, Zudo also almost dying there, but somehow slightly surviving.
Yeah, Zoodle does have a little bit more armor on than CBD does, so that might have made the difference here. Zoodle, however, not resetting after being hit. He's just like, you know, I got hit. That's fine. I'll still kill him. It's okay.
Honestly, I think it makes sense because, like, Consort... Oh, no, that's Consort. I'm like, oh, Radon is the square. And I'm like, oh, reading exactly that word. But either way, also for Fingerslayer Blade, if they do want to go for that column 1, but you can already just see how much better Great Stars is in this fight.
Yeah, currently Rot Grease on that. Great Stars also has bleed procs on there. Zoodle almost died because Alexander is standing in the way.
Oh my god.
Just standing there like, what are we looking at? Yeah, but CBD actually pivoting off of Radon here. I think he might be going for Seals. Or is he going for... Oh, he's going for the Faith Physic here. For the Anvil Hammer, I guess?
Also, did Mitch die? Because I guess now Blanks is ahead of him. Already fighting the Deathrite Bird. While Mitch is taking out some small birds. So that could actually be pretty dangerous because... that column 1, if Blanks gets the Deathrite Bird... and of course Zudo now with Radon being dead has better access to Fingerslayer Blade.
Oh, here comes the big explosion. Okay, Blanks just full on eats the explosion. He's like, I have Ritual Shield Talisman, I shouldn't die. Just eats it and it's like, alright. At least I don't like fall on the trail, I guess, and get constantly tick burned. Which honestly that's a fair point. Mitch here currently on the same fight, but Blank's definitely way farther ahead, full, you know, just at least a half a health bar ahead here. Mitch here also not putting the Holy Affinity on his Great Katana, still has Frost on there, so he definitely is not going to get the Frost procs on this Deathrite Bird, sadly. So he's losing a little bit of damage there. And Blank's here taking a nice repose. One more Unsheath should probably kill. There it is. Boom.
Nice. Very well done.
Now Mitch is in a really tough position where he's like, okay, I have to do Mesmer right now. There's no reason for me to do this Deathbird anymore, and we have to block column 1.
Yeah, and I think Blanks already has pretty good progress towards Mesmer, as far as I remember, so... I don't know, that could be a hard race to do, and Zudo also already making progress towards the Fingerslayer Blade.
Yeah. Yeah, this is looking really good for Zoinxz and really bad for CBDriz right now.
Yeah. even if column 1 is not gonna work out, just the majority game is still in favor of Zoinxz right now by quite a bit. There's not that many squares anymore that are super easily up for grabs. Like it is, a lot of them are a little bit of a longer square. I guess I'm still I'm still surprised that the death birds are still on the board as well.
Yeah, I guess because it wasn't like at some point it wasn't really that big of a priority. But what I'm mostly confused by is still CBD going for that Crucible Knight, that random Evergel Crucible Knight.
I mean, I feel like maybe they did really want to build that at column 5 since Mitch also did the Heal the Wounded Kindred of Rot, right? So I think maybe that was their idea, to do some sneak progress on the Crucible Knight, then maybe collect a few seals, a bit of ritual pots. But like Zoodle clearly had better priority on the ritual pots, but sometimes that also screws you over if you hold priority for too long, right? So they could have maybe tried to snipe that from Zoodle in a way and then make it a consort race. I'm not sure. Maybe that was the idea.
Yeah, I'm really not sure either. Really not sure. But we can always ask that in post as well. Be like, what was the decision, for Crucible Knight? In that specific moment, was that the plan of column 5? Was that just because you weren't sure, if there were other like better options, I guess, at that moment for the team? Could also just be like one of those things, where you start doing a square just because you're waiting for intel as well. Zoodle here grabbing a larval tier downstairs while making his way towards Fingerslayer Blade. That's a really good idea. He gets 2 larval tiers here, actually, right? One from Mimic Tier as well after Mimic Tier dies. So he gets 2. So that's actually really, really good for the 8 larval tier square on top of that.
Yeah. And you can see Blank's also collecting some larval tiers. So that's actually super smart because not only do you make progress to Fingerslayer Blade, also working on another square. That's pretty much always the best thing you can do. Is make progress on multiple squares at once if it works out. And so I think that's a very great decision here. There
is the damage difference that we were looking for. That Faith tier now allowing him to do the full damage of the Anvil Hammer. Those R1s are hitting for way more than they did before. Really, really nice damage. And he should be able to solo this fight. I'm not sure if it's going to be a 1 cycle necessarily, but he should be getting a stagger here after this charged R2. There it is. Really, really nice damage. So really close to a full 1 cycle, missing 1 half charged R2. But he should be able to get that opener in the phase 2 once he lands. And it should be a nice hitless boss here for CPD.
Oh, it's even 3 larval tiers because Zoodle just got 2 from Mimic and the one beforehand. So that's 3 larval tiers on the way to Fingerslayer Blade. That's insane.
Oh, Mimic drops 2?
Yeah, I just saw it on Zoodle's screen, so...
Oh, that's nice.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
and
there
we
it is.
Go, yeah. I think Mitch was also working on the larval tiers, though. I think I saw him pick some up, right?
Yeah, I think I saw Mitch just smiling, being like, all right, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I just got screwed over.
But why? Like, I just feel like they have such better squares to work on right now. Why the larval tiers for Mitch? Like, I just...
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know why Mitch is working on larval tiers. Like, they're not in the position to make a play like that, And there's no reason to make it like that. It's a dead square anyways. It doesn't progress anything for blue team. It doesn't progress anything for red team. And you have freaking Fingerslayer Blade and Rykard and Mesmer currently staring you in the face.
Yeah, which maybe the thought was that they kind of assume that Team Zoinxz is not going for any of the bingos, so they're just trying to like snipe any square they can from them, and maybe trying to go for the fastest, what they think is the fastest.
Yeah.
Because maybe that's what they think is Zoinx's strategy, but so far it seems like Zoinxz is always just a little bit faster, so...
Yeah, I'm really not sure. Especially with CBD dying to Radahn once or twice. I think that also kind of setting a tone of being like, well, what if Zoodle didn't die once or twice, right? Like, they already have advantage on Fingerslayer Blade. At the very least, we have to stop Rykard Mesmer if I'm going to be losing this potential race to, Fingerslayer Blade. But maybe they also think that, yeah, maybe they're not doing Finger Slayer Blade because, like we mentioned, that's a really long quest line. It's a really long item to get to. So they'll just probably just avoid that completely instead. But I don't know. Again, CBD now working currently on Deathbirds. Which, this makes a bit more sense. It's center square, but also it stops that row 3 to progress. But I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not really sure what the strat is, but it's just so hard, especially also if you're faced with multiple threats by now and the majority threat. It's very, very hard to make a game plan that makes sense because they can always just go for the threat, like try to build more on the threat that you decided not to block, right? So it's always kind of a 50-50 plus the majority game. Yeah, it's difficult in this position.
That was a very quick Deathbird kill here. Now Death Rightbird as well for CBD. I think it's going to be his second Deathbird kill, though. I don't think he's killed 2 normal Deathbirds. So it'll be 1 Deathbird, 1 Death Rightbird. In this case. I wonder how much damage. Damn, that's also really good damage.
I mean, that is crazy.
That has to be. Yeah, it has to be a +9, right?
Yeah, and plus that, it's probably strike, right? Which they're
true.
weak to.
It's got to be careful here. Okay.
Oh my god.
Hinterlands here for Mitch. What the hell is he looking in the hinterlands for?
Yeah, CBD just died to the Deathrite Bird. It's a very hard boss. You can really, especially on that rubble, like, I think what got him there was staying on those houses. Should have probably tried to bait the Deathrite Bird off of that rubble. But at the same time with that damage, I can't blame him for just trying to kill him as fast as possible.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes you just want to burst down a boss before they do any attacks at all. Because you're like, I don't know how to handle that, so I'm just going to go ahead and just deal as much damage as possible just to get out of the way. That's how it was with Deathrite Birds for me for a long time. I was like, instead of learning the moveset, I just wanted to deal as much damage as I can. And just get lucky maybe with staggers too.
Yeah, definitely.
This is tough. This is a little confusing. So, like, Mitch working currently on Emir now. And it looks like that Blanks is maybe slowly working on that as well now. Going around towards the back of Shadowkeep and Churchwater District. While Zoodle is actually working on Finger Slayer Blade, though. God, this is so interesting. So for Blanks, it makes sense. Like we mentioned, like Zoinxz, there are 6 squares ahead. Blanks can do whatever the hell he wants at this point. And I think for how Zoinxz has been operating this whole game, they only do co-op squares when they're doing it genuinely together. They don't want to necessarily do it where like, oh, you do Red Wolf right now, and then I'll do Red Bear in like 5 minutes. It's like, oh, we are doing Red Wolf and Red Bear right now together. That way, the chances of being sniped are like way less, right? And also, like if we were on a team and you went and did Red Bear, and then I did Red Wolf 5 minutes later, and then we got sniped on that, though, you wasted your whole time now doing that fight, right? So I think like they're really picking up this like mantra of like, okay, well, if we're doing any co-op scores, we have to do it at the exact same time. That way, we're like mitigating the risk of being sniped by a good amount, you know, not leaving something up just to do whenever.
Yeah, and I think that's a very smart way to do it, and definitely like that strat. I guess unless there's super obvious rush squares or something that should 100% be done beforehand on either side, maybe to block something as well. But other than that, I do agree that I think I like that more, to just play it safe, not kind of screw over one of the players for the rest of the game almost.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily that easy to execute on either, because you have to make sure that your base game player and your DLC player are both in the same spot. But that's like the whole, I guess, beauty of the format, right? Is communicating like, okay, I'm here now. Okay, I can do this now. It's like, okay, cool. Let's do it right now then. Zoodle here going for Crucible Knights, by the way. That is 2 Death Birds and 1 Deathrite Bird here for CBD now, taking away that center square. And this is telling, you know, Team Zoinxz, hey, they don't really care about what we're doing. And that, if anything, is fine to them, right? Because for them, it's like, okay, well, we're not working on that anyways, first off. Second off, there goes the Crucible Knight out the window, just flying down. For them, it's also like a thing of like, well, we're still 5 squares ahead. We're both working on things that they aren't working on now, apparently. So we can create even more pressure.
Mm-hmm. I mean, honestly, they could literally just go for the bingo and win. Because I think it's pretty clear that, yeah, they're not really working on that. But I do also like Zoodle just doing the Crucible Knights now. It's going to be frustrating for CBD because he already killed one. And I think he probably is going in here now to kill another Crucible Knight as well. Maybe also the Remembrance boss hitless later.
It was funny because I think in Season 3, this square, the 3 Crucible Knights, was actually way more rushed to where you couldn't necessarily reliably go downstairs after Radahn and get the other 2 Crucible Knights. You always did Stormveil Castle afterwards, and then you did the Imbued Sword Key Crucible Knight instead, because so many people would go for, you know, this square. So it now seeing like just how like a format can shift the priority on squares, where all of a sudden this is actually the most efficient way of going about it, is just it's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's very interesting, and I do like that as well throughout the seasons, like square priority changing, and maybe also with some tweaks and some new squares being added, that changes it all. But there it is, 3 Crucible Knights down.
Very nice from Zoodle. GG's to him. I do wonder what his grade stars is at. It's probably, I want to say at least +9, if not +12, but I'm not really too sure either. Yeah, Mitch here working on Count Emir. Dude, this is so... I don't know. I really wonder what the dialogue is here between the teammates on CBDriz as to like why they're just completely ignoring column 1.
I mean, at this point, I just feel like it's pretty clear as well for them that even if they try to block the bingos now, probably the others have made more progress than them on those lines.
It's just such a risky play.
I don't know. Yeah.
You know, it's such a ballsy thing of being like, oh, they're not gonna do that, so I'm not gonna do it, and just letting it sit for as long as they have. You know.
Yeah.
We're going to see here very soon, though, Count Emir for Mitch after this Mother of Fingers Matir fight. Blanks are working on what seems to be Egon's Furled Finger for that Egon's Finger and Vara's Bloody Finger square. Zoodle here working on, Vara's Bloody Finger, going for Magnus right now. And CBD going to be working on possibly another Remembrance boss hitless. Godric?
Yeah, would make sense. I guess he already has one. So just getting that one. And what would be the usual DLC hitless boss to do?
Normally Gaius. Gaius is like number 1, I would say. A lot of people pick Gaius for hitless. Otherwise Mesmer. Those are like the 2 most common ones, I would say. Mother Fingers would be an option if you're really good at the fight. You know your weapons, like with Mitch having Great Katana, Frost Great Katana, he can almost script that fight as well to a degree. But you also have to be really careful with bad RNG. You get the laser and you're just screwed. So it really depends.
Very nice, though. That is the second hitless fight, and so that just means that Mitch would have to do Matir hitless now, and they would get that square.
Yeah, very nice from CBD. Mitch immediately getting hit, though, sadly, from Matir here, so this is definitely not an option.
Yeah, unless he wants to reset, but I feel like I don't know. To me, at least, Meteor seems like a very, very difficult one to do hitless. So I feel like I would also just go with it and try to just do this for Ymir.
Yeah, and he might be worried that he might be sniped on this at some point as well. With Blanks, you know. Blanks hasn't marked... He marked larval tears, but that was already 12 minutes ago, so...
Yeah, very hard to know what he's doing, and since this is also a bit of a longer square, the Ymir one, it could be that Mitch thinks he's racing him.
And however, Blanks is not racing him, currently doing Shadow Keep Skip, however. I think might be going for either Gaius here, or maybe is going to start working on that Ymir questline, not too sure, but he is doing a little bit of a skip around to get to the backside from the front side. A skip that I still have to learn, to be fair. That's a pretty cool skip.
Yeah, same.
It's really nice. It does save a little bit of time, but yeah, it's a little weird, the parkour that you have to do. It's a cool legacy dungeon though. I do like Shadowkeep, the way it's designed.
Yeah, I like it too. Yeah, I think they did a good job with that, with the different levels that you can be on, like on the rafters and everything.
I do find it's the same with like the cathedral and DS3. I do find it a little bit overwhelming when you can see everywhere that you can go in one room.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You're like, oh god, like I can go all the way over there, but how do I even get over there? It's just...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you get lost a lot and stuff like that. But I think that's on one hand very overwhelming, on the other hand very, very cool to explore over multiple playthroughs as well.
Yeah, yeah. There we have it though. Meteor being down for Mitch now, going to try and work towards Gaius Hitless, I guess. He immediately ported towards Gaius Hitless here. Or not Gaius Hitless, but Gaius. Already have the Egon's Fold Finger here for Blanks, and Zoodle now going to be talking to Vare, going to be killing Arena for the Bloody Finger. So that's going to be their 12th square. And CBD currently going down an elevator. I'm not sure where exactly. This looks like to be like a hero's grave of some sorts. He might be doing Red Wolf of Champion. I think he is.
Yeah, seems like it.
God, this is... so interesting. This match is so not what I expected.
Yeah, it's very random, honestly. But I don't know. I just feel like CBDriz could have still been in the game if they just, I think, tried to build their own pressure a little bit more.
Yeah.
A little bit earlier. But yeah. I guess instead they decided to do a little bit of like disconnected squares. Which sometimes that's just how games are going, you know, it's I think was a very weird thing to play. A very unusual way to play the game.
There's definitely a thing where like I feel like sometimes people make like a high risk play that just doesn't make any sense on paper. But if it works out, is great. And I think that sometimes that's what we see as well, right? It's just like, this is, maybe setting up Crucible Knights, you know, was like a higher risk play, and trying to just like catch the enemy team off guard, which sadly did not work out. Like every single time Mitch or CBD got a square, Blanks and Zoodle were nowhere near it. We're just like, okay, you know, it's not stopping us from anything. So I think that those are like, just holy, those are just high roll gambles. That they're kind of just throwing out there.
I think so, yeah. And yeah, there's definitely been games where it does randomly work out. And it's one of those funny things is like where everyone is like, oh my god, why did they make this play? Like, two-head. But then if it worked out, they would be like, oh my god, most insane player ever, holy shit. Like, smarter than all of us, 5-head. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's those just high-risk plays that just seem so off. I mean, I've done them too. I'm not going to lie. I've definitely done them too. There it is, hitless bosses for CBDriz, though, 11-6 now.
Very nice.
I've definitely done that where I'm like, oh, you know what? Okay, if I do this, it's going to look sick. If I don't do it, it's going to be awkward as hell. And
Definitely.
then sometimes it works out. It's like, dude, Dom, that was like an insanely good combo. I'd be like, you're damn right it was. And sometimes I screw it up and they're like, now you're screwed. What was that for, Dom? Like, that was like the dumbest thing you could probably have done. I'm like, okay, great. Thanks, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly that. But yeah, I guess also Zulu finally got the Virus Bloody Finger with the work that Blanks did earlier as well with the Egon's Finger. I think that's a pretty cool square as well for the combo squares.
Yeah.
And they only need one more square to win now.
12-7 for Zoinxz. Yeah, lots of squares just got marked there. Altos Plateau Heroes Grave got marked. Hitless Bosses 3. And those were marked by CBDriz, and then one square marked by Zoinxz, Egon's Finger, and Varus Bloody Finger. So one more square is all they need. 4 NPC bosses, it looks like, is what Zoodle's going for, fighting it down right now. And for CBD here, currently in Carrier Manor. I always forget if it's... I always want to say Raya Lucaria for Carrier Manor.
Yeah, I get that too. Definitely. It's very confusing.
Why is he in Carrier Manor, though? Is there a unique seal here?
I mean, Fingerslayer Blade, I guess.
Oh, right. Yeah, true. Forgot about that.
But yeah, I think you probably forgot about it just because we know that Zoodle has already done so much more progress towards Fingerslayer Blade. It almost feels like he already has it.
Yeah.
So that's...
Well, also keeping in mind that, like, it didn't seem like they really cared about it. The whole Finger Blade Slade, holy, the Finger Slayer Blade square, you know, and yeah, I don't know. It's just, I think he's going for seals now. Is he? I don't know. I'm a little confused by CBDriz's current game plan.
Yeah. Same, for sure. But at this point, it is kind of a confusing game plan no matter how you want to play it, because you literally have to just snipe every square that they could be going for from them, right? Because any square they get now is the win for them. And
it's a full guessing game.
Yeah, exactly. It's really hard to know. Also, Mitch, I guess, didn't opt to kill Ymir, which is interesting.
Yeah, I'm assuming he's assuming that he has advantage on that. Because that is a pretty long square to go for. Zoodle here working on his third NPC boss, being Patches. Yeah, so I think he's just doing Mesmer first.
Yeah. Which I do feel like Mitch, not going for Ymir here yet could be an alright play, making Blanks waste his time now, but if Blanks does it just right away, and because it could be that Mitch maybe thought that Blanks was working on Egon's Finger pretty recently, right? Because that's what Zoinxz marked last. And we know that he did that way earlier. But so maybe Mitch thinks he has a little bit more time to hold on to the Ymir square now than he has. Like, I do think Blanks is kind of already coming up on it, but of course still has to kill Mitch here, which will take a little bit. And if Mitch goes back to Ymir right after Mesma, I feel like he'll get it. But if he tries to do something else on the way, I think Blanks might yoink it.
It looks like it's going to be yoinked. Yeah, he's currently already fighting Anna. And she is dead. That Moonveil is doing so much nice work, actually. I'm a little surprised.
Really not bad.
Yeah. Mesmer is almost dead here for Mitch now. He just needs one more hit, one more R1, there it goes. And yeah, so now that's going to be a lot of money that he can throw into the Ymir fight. If he pivots back right now, he could snag that back and not be sniped, and that would be pretty impressive.
Oh!
Zoodle has the giant octopus fall from the ceiling and then chase him down the staircase.
What the hell?
That's pretty funny.
That is very funny. But also Mitch actually not going to Ymir right now. He is making some progress, I guess, towards Concert Radan. And that could be really bad for him, you know. It depends. Maybe he'll just make a little bit of progress. Grab the first Grace and Rao, you know, and then go to Ymir. And I think that way he can still get it. Because Blanks still has a bit of mid-tier left here, but I think if Blanks goes to Ymir right away, I think Mitch sniped that from Mitch. Well, not snipe, but zoink it, I guess. Zoinxz it.
Yeah, I mean, potentially, and even then, honestly, as long as Zoodle just goes for the 4th NPC boss, it doesn't really matter if Ymir happens or not, because then that's going to be their 13th square anyways, and then that's going to be GG's. But yeah, I mean, Blanks, you're dealing with mid-tier pretty quickly. Zoodle now entering the stray mimic tier fight.
And now it's pure. I'm curious to see what Mitch is doing. Is he gonna go to? Oh,
He does go to Ymir.
yeah.
Okay, that's a nice play.
I don't know. Now it's gonna become a race, probably.
A little bit. A little bit.
Yeah, it's gonna be a close one now. Yeah, and Blanks also just going right for it. They're pretty much like
There it
almost
is.
head to head. But there it is. It's the
there
game
it
for
is.
Zoinxz. GG.
GG's to Zoinxz there, blocking every single bingo line, getting 13 as the majority square, and now both Mitch and Blanks fighting Jolan here. And Mitch currently a little bit ahead. I'm gonna let this play out. I want to see who gets this first.
Sounds good.
See who gets it first. Mitch here also has Golden Vow. Okay, this is actually really nice to see from Mitch. I've had these damn spells since the beginning of Season 4, and no one uses Flame Grant Me Strength or Golden Vow. And this is the first time I've seen anybody use spells to buff themselves in the DLC bingo format.
That's nice.
It's cool to see.
1
It's cool
point
to see.
for that.
Yeah, they get it. They get a freaking +10 seal. They might as well use the damn thing.
No, it's true. Does make sense.
Blanks is currently entering the Ymir fight right now, but
Yeah.
Mitch is really, really far ahead. Oh, Ymir's memeing just a little bit, teleporting in the corner.
Yeah. It does seem like Mitch is gonna be having this.
Yep, there it is. Nice. Nice from Mitch.
Yes.
All right,
At
let's
least
go
getting
ahead.
that.
He still marked it? Oh, I forgot to... No, I stopped the match. Wait, what the... How can you can still mark even after the match is over? What a silly goose.
-1 point again.
Yeah.
Taking that brownie point away.
No more
Right
finals.
away.
Mitch just forfeited
damn
them
it.
the finals match. That's up to the... Okay, they're trying to see if like we should do interviews now or later. We could do the finals now after like... Okay, looks like that we might be doing just like a quick 5-minute break here, and then we'll go straight into the finals match. No post-interview until the end of the finals. So, chat, go ahead, sit back and relax. We'll be right back here. Next match here, going to be Zoinxz and CBDriz yet again, all right? And about, okay, it's 1:20 right now. Be back at 1:30, okay? 10 minutes from now, get yourself some drinks, get yourself some snacks. We're going to the finals of the Elden Ring Bingo Weekend event, exhibition weekend, season 5, potentially asterisks. Yes, Pog. All right, see you guys in a bit.
Very pog.
Very Pog. Bombardino Crocodilo. Welcome back, guys. Welcome back to some good old Bingus. We're back for the final match of the good old bingo weekend here. Pup again on commentary for the finals. Zoinxz versus CBDriz, aka Cool Bitch Driz. This could be our final match of the weekend, guys. So I hope you guys are ready for the final Bingus up until possibly Season 5. Players seem to be ready. How'd you feel about that first match, by the way, Pup?
Confused. I
Yeah.
think that pretty much sums it up. Yeah, I don't know, like a lot of really weird decisions that I'm definitely excited to hear about in the player interviews. But it was very fun to watch, you know, the co-op play, especially by Zoinxz, I think was very, very cool. And really showed the strength of this format, I think.
Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, I think the format overall is really, really interesting, and Zoinxz really showing us like how to go about those co-op squares by really doing it together at the exact same time to really mitigate any time loss and possible snipe chances. Here we go. We're gonna go into our final match, chat. This is the finals. Go ahead and show some hype in chat as we go and start this countdown. 10 seconds. Let's go.
Woo!
Let's see. 1, 2, and 3. Center square. Collect 8 non-merchant bell bearings as our center square here. That could be really, really interesting. People are still trying to figure out what the most optimal bell bearings are for that specific class. Not too sure just yet. Row 4 having a lot of DLC as well.
Yeah. Yeah, that is very interesting. I feel like those rows where it's very heavily on one player are kind of difficult. I think you can probably steamroll other rows where you can hide maybe progress a little bit as well with the co-op squares. I feel like you can steamroll those rows a little bit easier. But at the same time, then it's only a race between 2 players at least, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we have column 5 and row 3 as well. That's very base game heavy. So I'm not really sure how these teams are going to go about it, but we do have some good weapon choices here potentially for the base game players as they're looking at their randomized classes. There is the Black Steel Great Hammer again. We got a scimitar. A little bit of halberds here. I guess the stat lines are better than the weapons themselves here. The stat line that Zoodle's looking at is actually really good. The weapons aren't too great. It's a whip and a halberd. One of the worst halberds in the game, Lucerne. But the stat line itself has a really nice spread between, endurance, health, and strength and dex, which is what you want. For any type of randomized content or randomized challenge runs that you do, you want to have a nice mix between strength and dex because it kind of covers a multitude of weapons. So you can kind of keep your availability as big as possible when you go check for round table or for shops and being like, okay, well at least I have some of these stats already, so I should be able to pick up this weapon pretty easily.
Yeah, I think that is very smart for sure. One of the squares on the board right now that is jumping out to me is the Kill Putrescent Knight. That just seems like such a long square. That's insane. That feels like the DLC Fingerslayer blade almost.
Yeah, to a degree. Yeah, I mean, it does take a good time to get down there and even get the kill going, because even like the whole laser segment is terrible. So I'm expecting that to be more of a push square than someone wanting to complete a type of square. Yeah, this board I feel like is a little bit. There's a little bit of rush. There's complete 2 caves or grottos for the base game, and also market with 6 parries. That's also there. For the DLC side, not a lot to rush. Maybe Ancient Dragon Man. 2 Hanging Pot Bell Bearings. Those 2 I think would be rushed. Also the DLC Ashes of War. Those 3 are rushable squares. So we'll see here. We're going in right now into good old match 2, aka the finals.
Let's go.
I'm
very curious to see what especially the base game players are going to be doing first, since as you said the cave and grottos are a very nice rush square, but also market, like it's on the same diagonal, right? So if maybe one person opts to skip the cave and grottos and goes directly to Margit, they're already at least eliminating the threat from that diagonal.
Yep.
And also kind of like, yeah, mitigating that other person already having that almost whole diagonal. But at the same time, if they both go for the cave and grottos and one person loses the race, and then they also opt to go for Margit, that's a very dangerous diagonal already.
And that's the angle that we're seeing right now, as both CBD and Zoodle are currently in the Cave of Knowledge, going to be going for the Soldier of Godric here, both running the same exact weapon, the good old Lucerne, both pretty much in sync right now. CBD trying to get a little bit ahead by jumping. But yeah, both pretty much in the exact same spot.
Yeah, pretty much. And I guess on the same diagonal is the acquire 2 hanging pot bell bearings. I guess that's all. Oh, that's what Blanks is doing actually right now. So, you know, I think that's a good choice to do as the first DLC square as well. Since potentially, if Zuru gets the cave and grotto, and then maybe even the Margit 6 parries, since we know that CBD is also doing the caves. So if Zuru potentially wins that over CBD, and then also wins the 6 parries, that would be insane if they also have the hanging pots.
Oh, Zoodle misses his first R1 though. And this is where CBD now
rough.
is at. Oh, what? Yeah. CBD currently ahead now. That one R1 makes the difference. That is crazy.
That is quite insane. And also taking the repulse, honestly, often not that great on such a low health enemy, because the repulse, the animation just takes so long. And if you just kill him, you can just already run to the exit, right?
Yep. So yeah, now Zoodle here behind by at least 10 seconds, I would say, because of that. Blanks here are going to go for a possible great katana check here. Mitch currently in the Graveside Plains, just going for that graveyard skip like he always does.
You know, if I was Zoodle right now, I know I messed up. I got hit. I would honestly just skip the second cave. I would just go to Margit 6 pairs right away, because worst case, I get that 6 parries if the other person does the caves, and I block that diagonal. Although of course, like, Blanks is also working on the pots, but you don't know if maybe Mitch is also working on that, right? But I feel like just going for the Margit 6 parries, and then if the other person also is going for Margit 6 parries, you can still finish the caves, because you already have one cave, and you would probably get those then.
There it is, hanging pot bell bearings for CBDriz now. First one on the board in the finals here, 1-0. Grabbing that nice inner corner square. And yeah, Zoodle here is challenging the caves though, running towards Bofa Cave. CBD is 10 seconds ahead at the very least right now, still keeping his lead and going to be running into this fight. This fight is definitely not as bulldozy as the Soldier of Godric fight, but probably still just as easy. It's going to come down a little bit to the move RNG though, and also in who takes the riposte. Yeah, CBD not getting a hit in there, sadly. Taking a hit instead, getting some R1s in there now though. Getting a back hop here from the Bofa. Zoodle here now also in the fight, however, does get a stagger, goes for that riposte right away. So Zoodle here kind of catching up now to that damage, but that riposte does take time though as well. Going for a charged fourth, which I don't think is a good idea here from Zoodle necessarily, because you are missing out on possibly getting some damage in. CBD here now getting some R1s in as well. Last R1, there it is, taken from CBDriz. There it is, 2 caves or grottos.
Yeah, it was still very, very close. But here, I just feel like if Zoodle had just gone with that mess up right away to Margit 6 parries, you know, like try to get a shield first, or like there's some shield pickups pretty close by. Yeah, I just feel like they could have already blocked that diagonal now, and now it's a very scary diagonal.
Yep. I think for some reason, honestly, I think if Zoodle just didn't take the riposte, I think he would have gotten that first, because it eats so much time.
Yeah, I think you might be right. Like, even with that one mess up, like, somehow CBD had pretty bad RNG on Bolfa and, like, missed also an attack and stuff like that. So, I think all that together kind of balanced that out. But, yeah, very, very, very close.
Yeah, incredibly close. Yeah, so now we're looking at the diagonal here. We have 8 non-merchant bell bearings, 6 market parries, and tree sentinel duo. So this is really putting a lot of pressure under Blanks, who has the dragon scale blade, by the way. That's the katana that was the great katana check. That's a huge, huge weapon here. Great somber weapon, and has an insane Ash of War on it. He already has it fully upgraded, so there's very much pressure on Blanks to be like, okay, I have to get tree sentinel duo now to block out this diagonal. And I'm assuming that's what he's going to do right now as well, is just work straight towards that back shadow, keep access straight in towards the hinterlands. Hot dang.
Yeah, interesting. Very, very, very interesting. So I guess the 8 non-merchant bell bearings, that sounds like a lot of bell bearings. And especially non-merchant as well. Like that's, I don't even know if I could remember 4 of them.
You should at least know 3 for the base game, because the bell bearing hunters dropped the bell bearings. So
oh yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
that
killing those is pretty straightforward. For the other ones, I mean, for the DLC, it's the hanging pot bell bearings mostly that lean into the non-merchant bell bearings, right? Besides that, for base game, yeah, there aren't really that many, to be fair, that aren't merchant ones. But that's not for me to figure out. That's for the players to figure out. I just write the squares, and then I just watch and see what happens.
That's fair.
That's the fun part.
I guess the cool thing is that, yeah, the 2 hanging pot bell bearings, they probably count into that, right?
Yeah, they already count towards that. Yeah, so exactly. So Team CBDriz already has 2 non-merchant bell bearings already for that square, and then if like CBD goes for all the bell bearings, all bell bearing hunters in the base game, that's already 5. So he's only missing 3 for their whole team, which is not that bad.
Yeah, definitely. Zoodle actually going for market with 6 parries now. It seems like he found a shield, and you can buy, if the shield doesn't have parry, you can buy a parry from Benal, or you can get the storm something.
Yeah, Stormwall, I think.
Stormwall, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. No worries.
Yeah. And that gives a little bit better parry frames, but just with parry is all right.
Okay, yeah. I mean, these are going to be medium parry frames for Zoodle here, just because that is still a medium shield, so not the best parry frames, but he does have 3 so far. That is 4 now, so this is going to be a nice block on that diagonal at the very least. I think CBD is thinking that that's going to happen anyways, because for CBD, he got the Cave or Grotto squares, so he can't necessarily assume that he won the race. He just knows that he got there first. So if anything, the best assumption is, okay, either I won the race on Caves or Grottos, or he is going for parries without even contesting Caves or Grottos. You know, you might as well always think about the worst case scenario, and worst case scenario is that Zoodle didn't even go for Caves or Grottos. So this would just be CBD kind of setting himself up to possibly getting sniped, and Zoodle might die here. Okay.
Yeah. Although in this case, I do kind of like still going for the market 6 parries, because you can also think like, okay, maybe I was faster on the race, and then there's still 3 Crucible Knights, there's 8 Remembrances, there's 3 Remembrances hitless. So it does, and that is also all in column 1, and getting access to Godric and Stormveil for that, like even if he were to lose the market square, I think there's still some alright value to Stormveil on this board.
Zoodle missing the parry and Margit killing him is just unfortunate for him. So that is a little bit of a reset there. Yeah, Mitch here now also has the Dragon Scale Blade, by the way. Currently at the 3-path cross, and Blanks here going straight forward seems to be Hippo. So he might be going for the good old Shadowkeep skip here again that we saw last match. So instead of going all the way through the backside of Shadowkeep and getting to the hinterlands, he's going to go through the front side instead and go for those Hippos. The one thing, though, is that he would need Oh Mother to even access the Tree Sentinel duo. And I'm not sure if he did grab those. I might have missed that.
Yeah, I'm not sure. That is one thing about the team format in general. It's so hard to keep track of all the players.
Oh yeah.
So much happening all the time.
And that's
also
why
makes it very fun.
That's why I've been very like on the fence about this, and I mentioned to chat too. Like I ran a poll to see what people liked and disliked about Bingo and what they want to see again, and it was very much half and half of people being like, "Oh, I really like to see the solo players," and like just seeing the personal skill, and then the other half being like, 2v2s is really fun. It's a lot of action, and then I had a lot of people asking like,
"Oh no."
And then I had a lot of people asking, like, yo, can we do, base game plus DLC, base game plus DLC? And I was like, well, if I'm doing 1v1s, base game plus DLC is just too much. That's too much map for one player to cover. It genuinely is. So I was like, you know what? If we're going to be doing base game plus DLC, it has to be 2v2s. And so this is like where we are at right now, pretty much like the format that I'm kind of seeing or envisioning, I guess, for base game plus DLC. This is the only way I can see it working. Because otherwise, yeah, one player doing all of this is just overload.
Yeah, that is very fair. I also saw some people asking if medium parries are really that much worse. And correct me if I'm wrong, but they were a lot worse because they had different startup frames. So it was like really awkward to parry with them. And they did fix that in a patch. Now they have the same startup frames and they're just shorter. There's a shorter window with the medium parry. That you can parry with, so it's definitely less worse than it used to be, but it's still of course more difficult.
Yeah. I think it's like 8 frames for medium parry, and then it's like 12 for small shield. But I'm not 100% either. There it is, though. 3 DLC Ashes of War now for CBDriz. Very different game than last game, where Zoinxz really was ahead on all the early game stuff. This time around, it's CBDriz with all the early game stuff here. Currently 3-0 on squares.
That is difficult. It's such a switch up from the last game as well. I feel like Zoinxz was kind of steamrolling it, and this time they haven't put a square on the board yet. I guess we'll see. Hopefully Zuro clutches out that Margit fight this time, and Blank's also working on the Hippo.
Yeah, Zoodle there having Margit show the stick in the air, just walking in a circle. One of the funny animations in the game when you get behind Margit while he's charging up his attack. He just walks in a circle with a stick in the air. It just doesn't do anything, just keeps walking.
Yeah, it's such a meme.
And Zoodle again not getting the parry.
Oh, that's so rough. That's especially so rough on your mental as well. Like I personally find Bingo already insanely tough on my mental in general. But then if you have such an early game incident, it just takes you out sometimes. And the best you can do is just either pivot if you really feel like. I mean, I think at this point it's very clear that either CPD is also having a major incident or that he's just not doing it, so at this point you can just decide to at least pivot for now, calm your mind again a little bit, maybe work on something else a tiny bit, maybe get a little bit more vigor or something like that, and then come back to it. Or you just try to keep going at it and get that victory feeling when you get it.
Ancient Dragonman here now for Mitch. He's definitely rushing all the early game stuff that we're talking about now, because Ancient Dragonman is the last, I would say, rushable really square here. And CBDriz is eyeballing that right now. That's row 1, column 3, the last DLC square in that row. And yeah, it looks like that Blanks really is just committing to this Shadowkeep skip into Tree Sentinel duo. Taking care of that Hippo, and then also maybe looking at Leda Rune, because that is also on that row 4 So maybe he's looking at honestly contesting that whole row and forcing Zoodle to maybe then switch to Red Wolf so they can maybe bulldoze this row 4 together.
Yeah. I think that does make sense. Like trying to like even through this hard start, like trying to somehow build a threat from somewhere, I think is very valuable to maybe stop the momentum of the other team a little bit. But it's gonna be very difficult, especially also now Mitch working on the Ancient Dragon Man as we speak, and yeah, if he gets that, that's just another row of pressure added, especially if Zulu doesn't get that 6 parry soon.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, medium parries is not easy. There we go, though. That is 4 parries at the very least for Zoodle now at this point. All he has to do is just not push Market into phase 2, to be honest, and then he should be fine. But it seems like he's been trying to really force those attacks in while he's trying to parry, and he dies again to Margit here, trying to get those parries going. I think he's just currently in his head for sure. Blanks are going to be working on that Letta rune square now. Going to go ahead and fight Hornsent to get that Letta rune. That's also going to give him access towards a DLC. Sadly, DLC Ashes is already taken, but that one square is definitely going to help out to block out that column 4.
Yeah. And we also see Zuru now pivoting, at least for a little bit. I guess maybe trying to get a little bit of setup, trying to distract himself.
Yeah, I think he's trying to go for that Red Wolf. Like I mentioned, I think that row 4 is what... excuse me. I think that row 4 is what they're all eyeballing for. At least Zoinxz is eyeballing possibly that row 4 as like their first pressure point to try and get some pressure off of themselves, as CBDriz is marking now that 4th square for themselves, showing that Ancient Dragon Man is killed. That should tell Blanks, like, okay, I have time now. I might have time to get this Letta rune and then go straight for Red Bear. And that means also that Zoodle should go straight for Red Wolf and then just go back for Margit afterwards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is a tough situation though. I mean, it must just sting for Zulu right now that he didn't get that Margit with 6 parries, you know, because that would literally take out 2 huge threats right now. That's just very unfortunate. But first square for Zoinxz now, at least. Very good.
Yep. There we go. 4-1 right now, blocking out that column 4. This is showing, you know, CBD and Mitch here that, okay, Blanks has Shadowkeep access. Blanks has most likely killed Letta for Hornsent in this case, which also means that he hasn't progressed anything else beyond that, because it's only been 18 minutes into the match. There really isn't much else that you can do in that time frame, but maybe now he goes for Red Bear, or where Mitch here now, I believe, might just be working towards getting already some Putrescent Knight access. So in case they do pressure that row 4, he already has Grace advantage, already has, you know, just a better approach towards blocking that if it comes down to that.
That makes sense, yeah. Yeah, I mean, that row 4 I think is going to be pretty hard to pull off for Zoinxz, because it is very DLC focused, and as you said, Mitch is already getting that access towards Putrescent Knight. I mean, he already killed the Dragon Man, and yeah, if he doesn't keep going with the Putrescent Knight now, they could also think about maybe doing Red Wolf, Red Bear. Or the Tree Sentinel duel. I'm not sure what they're gonna choose next.
And Zoodle back at Margit here. He's gonna die again if he's not careful. Zoodle here, I guess, checked Shield of Guilty, which has Shield Bash on it. I don't know. Can you put parry on the Shield of Guilty? It's a somber shield, so I guess no. Pretty sure it's a somber shield, anyways.
I guess. I mean, if it's somber, then probably not. But I feel like shields might work a little bit weird. I'm not. I don't know. Don't ask me anything about shields. I have no idea.
Nah, you're good. No worries. I barely know anything about shields myself, but I think that is 6 parries there now for... Oh, never mind. Now there's 6 parries for Zoodle. Okay, now all he has to do is just kill Margit, and then we get the square, get the block. Bada bing, bada boom. He's back in the game.
Let's hope he gets it this time. That's gonna be very good also to recover his mental at this point. I think he really needs that kill.
Surprisingly, no Red Bear here from Blanks, and instead he's looking at progressing here towards Mesmer instead. I think grabbing the Skidoo fragments because there is Skidoo level 10 as well on that row 4. Like I mentioned, I think this row 4 is something that they're kind of eyeballing. Also, level 85 is also on the board here, so I think he's trying to make sure that he also makes enough money to try and get that square at the very least for his team as well.
Yeah.
Zoodle, don't die for the love of God.
Oh my god, don't mention him. No cast a curse.
You want to check that screen again? Yeah.
No.
Hey, chat, if you had the power, you would wield it too, all right? That's all I'm saying. Here we go. Red Bear now for Mitch here. Gets a nice jumping R2. Doesn't buff the Dragon Scale Blade, though. But, yeah, I'm seeing from Mitch now, he is really leaning into the whole Flame Grant Me Strength Golden Vow setup, which I think is not a bad idea at all. I'm surprised that it took, a full season and an exhibition weekend for someone to actually use some of the buff spells in the shop here. And I guess he sees the benefit of actually using Golden Vow and Flame Grant Me Strength for those bonuses.
Yeah.
And especially with having such low Skidoo, his damage really is not that bad at all.
Yeah, definitely. I'm very surprised. Actually, that's a question I have. Like, what do people usually go for as, like, a Skadu level? Like, what's generally the thing that people get to?
If you're not doing Gaius, I'd say around 5 or 6. If you do Gaius, around the 8 or 9 is pretty normal. You push for 10, obviously, with Gaius, but definitely without it be around the 5 or 6 range, 4 or 5 range, and then if you do have Gaius on the board, most of the time it ends around 7, 8, 9, around there, depending on where else you're running to. If you're going to like Romina. And Romina's on the board, most likely 9 because there's like 3 to 4 Skidoos on the way to Romina as well. So, yeah, lots of options depending on the board.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yes, indeed. Red Bear is down here for Mitch now. And Red Wolf, I think, is going to be on CBD screen here in just a moment as well. So they're going to be fully blocking out that row 4 a little bit quicker than expected, actually. Not leaving it up to just the Putrescent Knight, but uh-oh. Zoodle, please.
Don't mention his name.
Don't speaketh thy name. He does have a little bit of health here, so he can take at least a hit if he needs to.
No.
Oh, there's no fucking way, dude.
Oh my god.
There...
Why? Why, Domo? Why? Okay, I think no.
Hot damn. Yo, can I get a round of C-Dom Jackass in chat, please? Thank you very much. I would appreciate it.
Oh, God. Oh, CBD also dying to the Red Wolf right now. So, maybe
Hot damn, dude. Unfortunate. Did Zoodle just alt F4 his game?
I think so.
Blanks are working into Bonneville. Oh, his game crashed. Oh, no.
No. Oh, no. On top
Even
of
worse.
everything. Yeah. That's very rough.
Super unfortunate. Yeah, I think Blanks is rushing Skidoo level 10 here, which honestly is like a really good call because that front loads a lot of damage and allows him to kill a lot of things. and just have a quicker momentum than Mitch in this case if he does go for 10 Skidoo.
Or he does the Tree Sentinel duo potentially. Oh no, yeah, you're right with the Skidoo level. I just feel like that would just take the pressure off of Zoodle a tiny bit. Not having to do the market.
Yeah, Zoodle now in the Halley Tree, gonna go for some money from looks of it. Maybe go for some Somberstone upgrades. He is definitely really far behind now when it comes to character progression and being on the board. So that's definitely a lot of just like pressure in general that he's currently dealing with. Red Wolf and Red Bear currently marked as well by CBDriz. So 5-1 now for them. And now Mitch is also making his way in towards Shadowkeep here. Tree Sentinel duo now, however, for blank. So at the very least, he does get one more corner square for his team, blocking out that diagonal, but also blocking out that column too.
Yeah, I think that's a very good decision. I mean, sometimes it is just like that. I mean, just the game before, Zoinxz was, like, it was literally turned, right? Zoinxz was really steamrolling the game. And CBDriz was kind of chasing them the whole time. And this time it's turned around. You can just see new board, new game. It can always be quite different. And I think when you do get stuck on something, that is the beauty in the team format, is that like if you just can't in that moment, like Zoro can do Market plus with 6 parries with a medium shield, you know?
Yeah.
But sometimes you just get in your head about it, and then your team partner can elevate that pressure for you with now killing the Tree Sentinel duo instead.
Yeah, and that was a really fast, Jesus Christ, what's going on today? That was a really fast Tree Sentinel first half here for Blanks, already taking out one of them. Yeah, that Dragon Skill Blade putting in a lot of work already.
Yeah.
And we're seeing a potential, wait, what weapon is that? Oh, is that the Magma Worm Scale Sword? I think it is from CBD here.
Yep, does look like it. Interesting weapon choice.
I think he's using it because chat said that it sucked. So if we know anything about CBD, he likes to prove chat wrong. So I think that's why he's going with it. And going to go fight Radon now with the Magma Worm Scale Sword. And Mitch here going straight towards, I believe, would also be the Shadowkeep skip.
Yeah, Blanks here also almost finishing the duo, and there it almost is.
One more hit. Oh, gets pancaked. Has to be careful. Has to be careful here. There we go. R1. Tree Sentinel duo on the board. Zoinxz blocking out that diagonal. 2-5 right now. 5-2 for CBDriz. And yeah, Mitch getting that Shadowkeep skip, going straight towards also Mesmer right now. I think also working towards that Skidoo level 10. But this is going to tell Mitch that, hey, you know, Blanks has access to Gaius. Blanks is probably also rushing Skidoo level 10. So I got to be wary that I'm possibly racing on that.
Oh, Zoro back on market, and look at that damage. It's so much better. It's insane.
Yeah, he's using the Inseparable Sword this time around, and I'm assuming he upgraded at least a little bit. Really nice damage, but he has to also be careful here. He is currently going into phase 2 now. This might be his... Okay, that's 5 parries. He's missing 1 parry here now on Margit.
Yeah.
But hopefully he does have the time to end too early, and there we go. That is 6 parries. There we go. GG's to Zoodle. Just has to get 1 charge dart 2 in there. Okay, maybe 2. Don't die, Zoodle. There we go.
And let's go, Zoodle. Awesome.
Dude has crucified his demons. 3-5. There we go. Big clappies. Big clappies. We're so back, man. We're so back.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough in the base game. Like, at least in the DLC, you get a little bit of vigor. But at the same time, in DLC, it's also like your 2-shot range. So,
yeah.
With that vigor. But at least, you know, like, mentally, you feel like you have some vigor. Whereas in the base game, it's pretty tough at the start, and especially if you
Yep.
don't have a lot of runes to invest into leveling, if you want to set up a weapon, it can be very difficult. I'm kind of surprised also that the smithing stone plus 16 weapon is still on the board. That was in season 3 a square that a lot of people liked to go for, since it also set you up.
Yep. Yeah, the big thing about that, though, is that in Season 3, it was only one big stone per upgrade. In this specific circumstance, it's 2 stones per upgrade. So that definitely, like, doubled the resources that you needed. But that will be changing for any official format. I was just something that I was trying out to see, like, how devastating that technically could be. We do see here Mesmer for Mitch right now, and also Gaius for Blanks. They're both trying to go for hitless, obviously, to try and make sure that they can also work towards that. Kill 3 Remembrance boss hitless. Blanks already had to sadly reset. He did get tagged in one of those fights. So reset the Gaius fight here, just to be safe that he does get that hitless portion of the Remembrance fight as well. Mitch got hit as well. Oh, well, unfortunate.
Oops.
But currently dealing a lot of damage. Luckily, Mesmer is weak to slash damage, so this is actually a really good weapon versus Mesmer. And this would give him a lot of money as well towards that level 85, which starts to make him look like CBDriz could really kind of push maybe column 3.
Yeah, like with the reach level 85. It's that seems pretty difficult, but in the DLC you also get so many runes. Well, what level do they start in the DLC actually?
1. The stats are just modified.
Okay.
Yeah, so all we do is, like, they start as a wretch pretty much, but they get 50 vigor. So they have 10 in each stat besides health, just to make sure they have a little bit of a little bit of padding to at least take at least a hit or 2, and then anything after that. But they still are set to be at level 1. So that's not too much of a time investment or money investment for trying out weapons and stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense. Actually, a good way to do it. Yeah, CBD trying to do Saya skip right now, struggling a tiny bit. And the Blanks pretty much has the Gaius fight. And I think that was hitless, right? Yeah.
The Gaius fight was hitless, yeah. So there is 1-1 currently on the board for Zoinxz and CBDriz now on that hitless square, but also a Remembrance square as well. And it does seem that Mitch did mark killing a Remembrance hitless as well. So unless no, maybe it was Radon actually from CBD.
Oh, I feel like that's very likely, yeah. CBD is pretty confident in Radon hitless.
And now we're going to see Radon here from Zoodle as well. So I wonder what they are looking at exactly. We're going to have 10 Skidoo here pretty soon from Blanks, which will be really, really nice for him for some fights. But there is Restoring Radon's Great Rune on the bottom right here. So I think that might be something that both players are looking at doing as well. It's a huge combo of between, doing Radon as a Remembrance, doing Radon hitless, and then also restoring that Great Rune. Could be a nice little 3 square synergy here. Also, you have Valiant Gargoyles as well on the board. So that's a lot that is behind Radon specifically. And I think CBD does not want to, gamble with the fact that he could lose that. So he's going straight for that Divine Tower to restore Radon's Great Rune.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Yeah, it's kind of crazy how much value there is in Kalit. Also with the Scar Seal? No, wait, that's the wrong one. That's the Sword Seal.
Yeah.
I've never played this game before, by the way.
That's all right. It's the first time for everything, right? Yeah, no, the Scar Seal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There, somewhere.
The imbued sword key is past Radon. The Scar Seal is technically too. You're not technically wrong, based on the fact that like you could drop down from where Regal Ancestor Spirit is and go towards that Dragonkin soldier that has the Scar Seal. So I mean, still an option for sure.
See, actually, that's what I meant, you know, Valiant Gargoyle and Scar Seal value, you know, like, I was just so calculated.
All good, all good. There it is, though. Marked square for Team Zoinxz, grabbing that level 2 Skidoo. What the hell? Grabbing that level 10 Skidoo for his team here, blocking out that column 1. I think that's really good. Yeah, this fight should be really, really quick. He does take a hit here from Mesmer, but it's not resetting. So I think he's just fully committing towards just level 85 now, just rushing level 85. I think he's probably thinking like, even if I get hit, it's whatever. I really need to get 85 to block that column 3 and not put the team in an even worse position than it already is.
Yeah, I could imagine that they are kind of relying on Zoodle maybe doing the other 2 hitless bosses, because he's now fighting Radahn, and then he also has access to Godric since he did kill Margit. And since he got the Margit 6 parries, I guess it's safe to assume that maybe the others don't have Godric access, and that is a pretty squishy Remembrance boss.
Yep. Yeah, I don't think this Sacred Blade is really that upgraded. Zoodle just has to be a little careful here. Nice dodge so far from Zoodle. He's close to a stagger. Should be close to a stagger here. Just 2 more hits should be all he needs for Radahn. He's getting some really nice RNG here. The meatball attack. This is pretty alright. No problem with this at all. Make sure to jump. Really nice. Okay, almost scared me there just a little bit. Very nice fight, though, there from Zoodle. Grabs the Radahn fight. Also hitless on top of that. Yeah, the meatball attack at the very end there, you want to jump forward, because if you jump to the side, sometimes the shockwave AoE is just really bad hitbox-wise.
Yep.
There it is, though. Restore Radahn's Great Rune for Team CBDriz now, 4-6. That tells, you know, Zoinxz here, okay, you know, they've killed Radahn. They have access to Valiant Gargoyles. They have access probably to also hitless and maybe a bit more Remembrance bosses than we have right now. But also, boom, level 85 from Blanks here. So this is looking to be a bit more of a tied game now, the way this is currently developing.
Yeah, I mean, Zoinxz really caught up a little bit on squares.
Yep.
It's very nice. And also, Zoodle already going towards Godric, so I do think that he might be just doing that, finishing up the hitless square. And also, it's working very nicely towards the Remembrances. I mean, they only marked 1 on 1 each, but should have a lot more than that, unless my board is not loading.
You're good. Yeah, it looks like CBD is going for imbued sword keys now, which is fair. I think that's not a bad idea at all. I think that just at least working a little bit towards imbued sword keys is fine, but they will be missing out now on that Remembrance hitless square, as Zoodle is going for Godric here. The next thing that they might be working on, honestly, I could see from the base game players, is either Crucible Knights or Urtree Avatars. I could see that being like the next just point of interest for either of the teams, especially for Team Zoinxz to block out that Road 2 as one of the final areas that they need to block out. But also for, I mean, Team CBDriz obviously as well, because if they get Urtree Avatars, then they have a nice Road 2 building there. The Smithing Stone 16, though, has been there for a long time, and I don't think any of them are going to go for it because neither of them have a smithing weapon. So going out of your way to upgrade a second weapon that you're not going to use is just a huge money sink and time sink.
Yeah, definitely. But I think, as you said, like the Crucible Knights would make a lot of sense also for Zoodle, since he has access now to the Crucible Knight in Stormveil, which is a very, very nice one. So I think that could be viable, but at the same time, that is also something that you can combine with the Valiant Guards, right? And we saw that in the other game. But I feel like since they are playing catch-up in squares, I think trying to combine squares here is not the best play. just because they don't have that like pressure built up, where if they lose one of the squares, it's fine. So I think
Right.
just going for squares that you can really just get under your belt makes a lot of sense, and maybe also trying to build your own row of pressure.
Zoodle's scaring me there a little bit, trying to greed in a charged R2 right in front of Godric's arm. But should get hopefully a stagger here. Nice stagger. This is going to allow him to just like skip phase 2 pretty much completely. And that's going to be 3 Remnants bosses hitless for Team Zoinxz. Going to be taking away that square. 4 imbued sword keys here for Team CBDriz. 7-5 right now. 2 square lead for them. But they're going to be a 7-6 here in just a moment for Zoinxz as well.
Yep.
There
very
it is.
Nice. And that must be good for Zoodle as well. I mean, he just clutched 2 Remembrance bosses hitless. That's gonna be a big boost again after that Margit, you know?
Yep.
And hopefully whatever he takes on next is also gonna go pretty well.
Looks like he's going for the Scar Seals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. I mean, there is some upgrade material on the way as well for the Smithing Stone plus 16 weapon, potentially, so...
That is true, yeah.
Do the double up there.
Could do a little bit of a double up, or maybe he's thinking that he might be contested on that, so he could rush that as well. Imbued Sword Keys was marked by CBD, so he knows that CBD finished that square, and it wasn't Mitch. So CBD kind of hiding when Mitch necessarily grabbed that Imbued Sword Key. It could have been whenever, but it looks like both DLC players right now going straight towards Putrescent Knight.
Interesting choice.
Yeah. Very interesting. I think they're both trying to make sure that they get as many remembrances as possible because of that 8 different remembrances square. That's a co-op square. Currently, you know, Zoinxz being pretty far ahead. I mean, what is there? A Radon for CBDriz. It was Radon and Mesmer, and I think that was it. Oh, Gaius. So technically they have 3, not 2. And yeah, Zoinxz having just 1 extra remembrance can make a little bit of a difference for sure here. But after Putrescent Knight, I'm assuming Rolana is going to be up next for both players. And there's also Midra, obviously, on the board here with Hug the 3 Fingers and Kill Midra as a co-op square.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess it does make a lot of sense to just try to, like, double it up. And I could see how maybe both of them are thinking that the other person is not going for Putrescent just because it's such a long way. And so, in the end, they're both going for it. Just because I think it might be more guaranteed.
Oh, okay. So apparently Mitch actually quit out on Gaius. I did miss that. So apparently because he got hit, he was trying to go for hitless Gaius. He just then quit out instead. So he might come back to that later, which makes sense. I think quitting out there makes sense because, yeah, okay, you lose out on Skidoo here, but it makes sense because Putrescent Knight has its own square on the board compared to Gaius, which is just only towards the 8 different remembrances. So trying to double up on that makes sense here. Mitch just a little bit ahead on Putrescent Knight, not by much, but he is still ahead. And it's going to come down to a little bit on execution, a little bit of RNG for the moves on the Putrescent Knight.
Yeah, gonna be interesting to see who wins this square. Well, Zoodle is just making his way towards the Scarseal Talismans. Gonna go enter that Everjail with the Ancient Hero of Zamor. And I actually do like that play because the row 3 is still completely open, right? So he does have pretty good access to Crucible Knights. He is now doing the Scarseals. So that could potentially be a threat that they can build still. Although CBD, of course, is still already making his way towards Valiant Gargoyles, so he has a good access to the block.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what the approach is here. Very quick fight, though, from Zoodle here. Absolutely destroying that Ancient Hero of Zamor. We're going to be grabbing that second Scar Seal. That should be another square. 7-7 now, and they tied the game. That's not how this game started, so that they're slowly creeping back like this is actually pretty insane. Zoodle here, I think, is now going to be aiming towards those Erdtree avatars, like I mentioned. That is pretty quick. He is near one anyways in Weeping. You might as well go ahead and commit to that as well.
Yeah.
And it'll be a nice little one-off. We'll see, though.
Yeah. I mean, they are making some really nice decisions of what squares to go for. Very quick squares. Like, Sure, even though Valiant Gargoyles is kind of nice for the block as well, it is quite the time sink as well. Although, I guess Mimic Tier counts towards NPC bosses, right?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. So there's that at least with a double up. But I do kind of like what Zoinxz is doing here, trying to just collect a lot of very quick squares with the Earthtree avatars. I wouldn't be surprised if Pseudo afterwards goes for the Crucible Knights, although of course CBD also has good access to them with the Valiant Gargoyles.
Looks like CBD is pivoting out for now. Did grab the Mimic Tier kill, but is going straight to Fort Feroth. I think he might be looking either at Earthtree avatars or yeah, honestly, I think he's looking at Earthtree avatars. I think he's going to go for like the really tanky putrescent, not putrescent, sorry, the putrid avatar here, because it gives the most money. It would take a little bit longer, but it would be just a nice, you know, amount of cash that he could use for his weapon specifically.
I mean, I guess, but since Zoro already killed one Earthtree avatar now, and might potentially also choose squishier avatars, that's a little bit of a waste for CBD, because this avatar is quite tanky. I mean, he has fire on his weapon, which will help him a little bit, but...
It is a tanky boy.
Yeah.
It is a tanky boy. Both DLC players currently landing in the Putrescent Knight arena. Mitch just like ahead by 3 seconds, maybe 4 seconds. But both players pretty much in the same position here. So this is going to come down to execution and buffs. Blank's actually starting sooner than Mitch because he ran forward just a little bit sooner to start the fight, while Mitch was busy buffing a little bit with that Golden Vow and Flame Grant Me Strength.
Yeah, gonna be very, very interesting to see who wins this race. I mean, so far, Blanks did also apply his weapon buff, while Mitch didn't have it for the first hit.
Yeah, Mitch applying it while fighting here. It did catch him up, gave him that bonus damage that he needed. And right now, it's really neck and neck. Both players getting some R1s in. Putrescent Knight just being an absolute, you know, combo machine, not allowing you to get a lot of hits in at all. This fight is pretty difficult in the sense that like you have to be really, really patient. This fight does not allow you to just consistently hit without being punished for it. So you really have to make sure that you just wait for those windows, those specific attack windows, and get your punish in, and then just wait out for the next attack.
Indeed. Yeah, CBD making his way to the second Earthtree avatar now in the Harlech tree, and Zuru also choosing exactly the same one as his third though, so it does seem like Zuru's gonna be winning this race.
Oh, and Blanks here looking like he's really far ahead at the moment. Did get a stagger on his Putrescent Knight. Did also get a nice riposte here. Gets another stagger and another riposte here. This is looking very much in Blanks' favor right now, as Mitch still is above 50% health, whereas Blanks just has maybe an eighth left.
Yeah. That's very, very also unfortunate with Mitch already getting phase 2 attacks.
And Mitch dies!
Yeah. Oh, that's so rough. That's such a time waste for... If Blanks actually gets it now.
And Blanks does. And it's going to be marked here in just a moment. There it is. A really, really close fight. Mitch should see that right now. He's like, oh my god, there's no way. There is the snipe. That is another remembrance for Team Zoinxz, not another remembrance for Team CBDriz. So now, slowly in Zoinx's favor, 8-7. They are one square ahead now. What is Zoinxz going to do next year is going to be really important, because Earthtree avatars, that is going to be potentially, I don't know, this is looking really tanky. I don't... Oh,
it's kind of crazy. No,
Zuru might actually... Zuru might lose the square. Zuru might lose the square.
I think he lost it because CBD does insane damage with the fire weapon against the Earthtree avatars. That's why he kind of like zoomed ahead of Zuru, even though Zuru was on it way earlier.
And Zuru pivoting now, but it doesn't matter. This is going to be sniped now.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at that damage. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter. Didn't matter which Earthtree avatar you were going for. Even if you stuck to the same Earthtree avatar he had before, he would have died.
Yeah.
There it is. 3 Erdtree avatars now. Back-to-back snipes. Zoinxz sniping CBDriz sniping Zoinxz. This is really coming down to just precision and good square calling. And right now, I think Zoinxz is looking to go for those last Remembrance bosses that they need. Rolana here for Blanks. Going to be happening here very soon. And Jail's going to be happening here for Mitch.
Yeah. Which I guess... Yeah, the jail is an interesting one. Like, it does feel like it takes quite a long time to get through there. Oh, he's actually moving out and going somewhere else first.
Looks like it might be Crucible Knights here for Zoodle, and probably the same for CBD, but CBD is already downstairs. Oh, never mind. Zoodle's not going for Crucible Knights. What is he going for?
I'm not sure.
Oh, maybe he is going.
he
Okay, I think
also-
Zoodle's going downstairs too, but he's just going.
I think so.
Yeah, he just
But-
didn't have anything nearby.
I just feel like for him, it would make more sense to just do the classic Crucible Knights. But it just takes a long time, and CBD has access to 2 Crucible Knights right there, so I think he pretty much has that square compared to
Yeah.
Zoodle.
Yeah.
So, that's difficult. I feel like
I think focusing
It's-
NPC bosses would have been a better choice.
yeah, but of course it's hard to know, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah, for sure.
it's
I mean, it's not
very
though. Not in
difficult,
this
but-
case, just for Zoodle, because CBDriz did mark Restore Radahn's Great Rune. So Zoodle should be assuming that CBD is downstairs. If you're marking that you have Restored Radahn's Great Rune, you know that they have access to gargoyles. You know that they have access to the 2 Crucible Knights down there as well. So it is a risky play here from Zoodle to try and push that, but he should be at least assuming the fact that CBD could be already here. But it does lead into the fact that Mimic Tier is an NPC fight. So maybe Zoodle is thinking like, hey, I'm going to focus NPC fights, but I do want the downstairs to be open to me as well. So a little bit of a 2 for 2.
Yeah, I mean, Valiant Gargus is also still there, so it still makes sense. But, and also, I guess you couldn't know from the Restore Radahn's Great Rune that CBD already had so much progress towards the downstairs area. And since he got the Scar Seals, like, he could also think like, oh, maybe CBD, because of this, thinks that I'm already downstairs, because you can access the other Scar Seal through doing that parkour down, right? So, yeah, I don't know, but I think it's not entirely bad that he is down here, but it's looking kind of tough. I feel like it matters more also what the DLC people are going to be doing next, since there's not much left anymore for them, except the co-op squares.
Looks like that Mitch is going to be focusing on grabbing some of those hanging pod bell bearings that are left over and then start working on Midra here. And it looks like that Blanks is just rushing Remembrances. He went from Rolana, absolutely destroyed Rolana very, very quickly here, going straight towards Dancing Lion now. So I think he's just absolutely just prepping every Remembrance he can to make it as easy as possible for Zoodle just to clean it up if he needs to, and then work towards Midra. I'm expecting a Midra here very soon on Blanks' screen as well, the same way it is for Mitch.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy how close this game ended up being.
Yeah, we see a Crucible Knight here for CBD now. It's going to be his last Crucible Knight. He already killed 2 in Nakron, I think, or whatever the hell that place is called. There it is, though. 3 Crucible Knights marked. 9-8 now. 1 square lead again for CBDriz. This is letting Zoodle know, okay, well, at the very least, he didn't waste his time on that, right? He got 1 NPC boss himself. I think focusing NPC bosses here would be best, but Zoodle not porting out, actually, and just going straight towards Gargoyles, potentially, instead. And it looks like that CBD might be focusing on Smithing Stone plus 16 as he's going for the Bell Bearing here in Altus.
I mean, I guess it also helps towards that co-op square with the bell bearings, right?
Yep.
So I think it's not the worst thing to do right now, because it's kind of a 2-for-1.
Yep.
But I do also like Zoodle just grabbing that Vian Gargoyle square. And then maybe going to Bow's Bloody Finger.
Oh, looks like that Zoodle's actually prepping Regal Ancestor Spirit. He does have Sacred Blade, and it is weak to Holy, so maybe not the worst choice, and it is a Remembrance boss, but it can be a little tedious as well. But this might be worth it for them. Grabbing that Remembrance, but then also being able to do Gargoyles right afterwards might not be the worst play here. The only problem is that Zoodle still needs capital access. He has 2 Great Runes, but just getting there and defeating DTS.
Yeah, that is very true. At least him helping with the Remembrances also gives Blanks a little bit of breathing room again to maybe progress some of the other stuff that he still has to do. But he is also going towards the Lion right now.
Again, should be a pretty quick fight. We have around like level 10, level 11 Skidoo here for Blanks. So he's going to be doing a lot of damage at this point. Dancing Lion is supposed to be done semi-early into the game. So I'm expecting this to be a lot of damage on Blanks' part.
Yeah, definitely.
Blanks also technically cheating here.
Uh-oh.
Quitting out at doors, that is illegal, but it's whatever. It's fine. It is a fun weekend event, chat. Keep that in mind. Asterisks on the win for Zoinxz here. Crazy. It wasn't a quit out, he fast traveled? Wait, but how did he like instantly enter the fight if he fast traveled? Huh? How does that work?
Well, maybe you blinked.
No, I don't know. Cause it's still in the loading zone. Wait, so wait, that doesn't make any fucking sense. Well, anyways, Dancing Lion is dead. Hot damn. Bell-bearing Hunter's here for CBD. So yeah, he's focusing definitely on that bell-bearing center square.
Yeah, and Mitch making his way towards... I thought it was towards Midra, but now it doesn't look like it anymore.
I think he's going for more hanging pot bell-bearings.
I see, yeah. That's fair. I guess there's quite a lot of them.
Yep, there's quite a few of them. They already have 6. They only need 2 more, yeah. And Zoodle here working on Regal Ancestor Spirit now. Dealing a decent amount of damage for sure. The only thing here is that it's not Gargoyles. He will get the 8 Remembrance Square for his team because there are 7 already completed for Team Zoinxz. But sadly, we'll probably miss out on Valiant Gargoyles here because that is exactly what CBD is going for right now.
Yeah, which I do think in this case, doing Gargs first and then afterwards doing the Ancestor Spirit would be a little bit better, right? Because it's like... But you just can't know how many Remembrances the other team has done. So that's a hard gamble to make. Which one to go for first.
Oh, nice stagger here. Zoodle stopping the healing from the Moose.
Oh, very nice.
Gets a really nice kill. There it is. 8 Remembrances now. 9-9. We are tied yet again for Zoinxz versus CBDriz.
Yeah, at least for now, because CBD doing pretty good damage against the Gargoyles.
Yeah, the damage really isn't that bad. Ooh, big stagger here as well.
Yeah, that stagger was clutch. That, I mean...
Alright, it's a good old 1-to-1. Yeah. Looking really good for CBD in this case. And Mitch is making his way slowly now towards Midra, aka the catacomb, the dark lit catacombs with Jory, as he's making his drop downs here. And looks like that Blanks is working on jails instead. He's currently in Swordmaster Aunt's? Yes, Swordmaster Aunt's jail.
Yeah, Yeah, that's a good square to get for them now. And then I guess can only do 2 more things. DLC things are really running out at this point.
There it is. Valiant Gargoyles is dead here now for CBD. 10-9 for CBDriz. That's letting Zoodle know, okay, you know, let me just get the hell out of here. I think there's going to be a race on NPC bosses now for both of these players, as Zoodle is going straight to the Arena of the Lakes and going to be going for a Don. There it is, 8 bell bearings for CBDriz as well. 11-9 now is 2 square lead for CBDriz.
Mm-hmm.
This might be coming down to Hug the Three Fingers and Midra.
Yeah, it does seem so. But CBD is going towards...
Holy, Ons just got absolutely obliterated.
That's satisfying to see.
Very nice. Yeah, a little bit of a rip
CBD
bozo.
Needs a second Great Rune still for capital.
Yeah. Yeah, he didn't. He only had 1 Great Rune so far.
Interesting. So that actually is a pretty good advantage for Zoodle, because he does have the 2 Great Runes, and he just needs to run towards the capital now. Of course, needs to kill DTS and Goldfree and Morgoth, but at least... Wait, no, he doesn't have to do that. No. Yeah, he does have to do that because of the seal.
Yep.
Doubted myself for a second.
Nah, you're good. You're good. But it looks like that Zoodle's actually going for Vari's Bloody Finger first before going into the capital here. And Mitch here also splitting progress, going straight for Egon's Furled Finger as well.
Yeah, interesting.
Very interesting. Nice 1 cycle here from CBD.
I mean, for Zoinxz, it's really hard because they literally need 4 out of 5 squares now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's gonna be so hard to pull off. Especially since CBD has that bell bearing for the smithing stones as well.
Yep. It is going to be quite tough indeed. Zoodle here making his way towards Magnus. Blanks right now doing a second jail. This is the Labyrinth jail. So that's at least going to be one thing that's going to be marked for Team Zoinxz. So that at the very least 10-11. NPC bosses, however, is still on the board still as well. And if Zoodle can at least get that for his team, then the 2 co-op squares start to look really, really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we have Mitch here now doing jails as well. Didn't do Jagged Peak Drake just yet. He's just grabbing the graces just in case he has to race on those 2 co-op squares. He has the grace for Darklit Catacombs. He has the grace for Jagged Peak Drake. And now he's doing jails. He's like, okay, you know what? I have a little bit of split progress between the 2 co-op squares. Let me go ahead and finish the last DLC square. And that way, if I do get sniped on this, I have priority on both co-op squares.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Also, like, if your team partner still needs to do a lot of things for that co-op square anyway, and you are pretty much set up for it, you might as well just do something else while you're waiting for your team partner to be close, and then you can just kind of finish it at the same time. And if it was claimed by then, at least you didn't waste that time on that fight already or something. I don't know. Hard to say. Sometimes I feel like it does make a lot of more sense to wait for a little bit with finishing the square.
Yeah, I guess it all comes down to personal strategy in that case. We have Labyrinth here, though. Cursed Blade Labyrinth on Blanks' screen. This should be a just as fast of a kill here. Going for another smoke attack. And now we get to have that nice spin to win move that everyone loves. Nice damage, already half health here. There's a Frost proc. And there it is. That is 2 jails completed now. And this is really bad for Mitch because he has to Memory of Grace now. He can't quit out. He has to Memory of Grace. Yep, and there it is. There's that Memory of Grace. He's leaving the jail right now. This is a 10-11. or 11 to 10 for CBDriz. And CBD now working on NPC bosses, while Zoodle is making his way towards the capital.
Yep.
The problem here is, if Zoodle does not get NPC bosses or Smithing Stone plus 16, he just, Zoinxz just loses.
Yeah, I mean, CBDriz literally just needs 2 more squares. Only 4 squares left, and yeah, Zoinxz needs 3 of them. That's a very tough situation to be in, but so far at least, anything can still happen. Maybe Jagged Peak Drake incident, you never know. Or a picking up the bell bearing incident.
That'd be very surprising. But it looks like Zoodle is going to go for that Smithing Stone 3 and 4 bell bearing. And it looks like that CBD is going to go for maybe his final NPC boss, but it might be like Gary. I think he's looking at potentially Gary here, going to the Erdtree Grazing Hill Grace. Ancient Dragon Man being fought here by Blanks now. Blanks trying to get access to Egon's Furled Finger. Yeah, Blanks does not have any board presence when it comes to the 2 co-op squares right now. This is where advantage is for Mitch. Mitch maybe got sniped on Everjails or on Jails, but that doesn't really matter in this case anymore.
Yeah, that's a hard thing with Blanks going the route he did to Putrescent Knight, because it just didn't really help him towards any other square, while Mitch at least killed the Ancient Dragon Man, and he had both access to Jagged Peak Drake and to Putrescent Knight, and even though he wasted his time running to Putrescent Knight and didn't get the square, he at least still had the map presence, so I guess it wasn't as bad for him.
So if Zoodle, however, does get Smithing 16, I think Zoodle is making the right call here. He is going for the longer square, pretty much. And if he does get this, the co-op squares are still available to them. And that's going to come down to whoever kills Midra first, whoever kills, Magnus and Vare first, which I believe Magnus is already dead for Zoodle.
I think so. And I think he has more map presence towards the capital as well already.
Yep.
So
CBD here now also splitting progress, going for Vare's Bloody Finger, getting those fingers to go fight Magnus, and not finishing NPC bosses. They currently have 3 of them, but he's holding out to that, which seems really, really dangerous.
Yeah, it's pretty risky.
Yeah, it looks like Zoodle now is going to be going for that other bell bearing. This is the somber one, though. Unless I'm crazy. Why is he going for this one? Oh, because there's smithing 5s in here.
Picking up, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah. Okay, Mitch now has already the furled finger from Egon. Now is going to be possibly working on... I mean, all he can do now is do Midra.
Yeah.
That's all he can do at this point.
Yeah, exactly. And then he can just chill and see who gets the other part of the co-op square on the either his team or the other team, which I don't know. I feel like since Zoodle is now doing the smithing stone upgrades, I'm a little bit worried about the Vare's Bloody Finger. Even though he already has Magnus dead, there's still quite a bit of things that you have to do for the questline, right?
The tough thing here is actually that Zoinxz is going to be sniped on Egon's Furled Finger and Vare's Bloody Finger. Because unless Blanks does the most insane amount of damage I've ever seen on this dragon, CBD is going to be fighting Magnus right now, and Mitch already has Egon's Furled Finger.
Yeah.
That's a lot of freaking damage. Holy.
That is very rough. But who knows? I mean, we've also seen a lot of Magnus incidents before, so...
We have indeed.
Seem like CBD is doing very good damage. Yeah, and there we go.
Yeah, that fire is really taking on in. There's the kill on Magnus. Now all he has to do is go talk to Vare again, and then kill Irina, go back to Vare, and give him his finger. I don't know. Maybe that is enough time. I don't know. This is really, really close.
It's very close, yeah.
The dogs are stopping him from teleporting. He's trying to see what is the
I
closest
mean,
Grace. He is kind of far away from Vare. This is giving Blanks enough time.
yeah, and Zuro is ahead of CBD. I feel like they might get it. And then if Zuro does the smithing stone upgrades, or is he going for smithing stone upgrades, or is he going to Vare now? Because I think that's more important right now as well. Yeah, I think Zuro is actually still going for smithing stones because he has to still finish it as well, right?
I think Zoodle has almost like I think he's finished it.
Hmm.
Okay, we're at half health already for the Jagged Peak Drake. This is really good for Blanks here. Goes for that riposte, so he doesn't have to deal with the fire damage. Okay, so Blanks might still get this before, before Arena gets killed for CBD. This is actually really, really big.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think Zoodle... Does Zoodle have the finger?
I don't think so, no. I think...
There it is.
I think he only has part of the quest line. Like, he hasn't talked to Vara yet, I think. That's the thing. Like,
is insanely unfortunate.
yeah. But... Where's CBD going now? Is he finishing NPCs instead? No, he's going to Arena or... Yeah, no.
He's going to Arena. He's just dropping down from weird spot.
Yeah.
Dang.
So,
why is Zoodle not... I don't understand that.
yeah, he should pivot off right now and do
That's
the Vara
really
thing, but
bad.
now he's so behind already. Like, I mean, Cool Bitch just has it.
That is so unfortunate. He will have a plus 16 here, though, potentially. There it is, the plus 16. So at the very least, he gets that off the board. But this is going to mean, though, that he has to kill NPC bosses now, like, as soon as freaking possible, because CBD does have one NPC boss before him. But now he's going to go talk to Mima. You want some cookies?
Yeah, that's very unfortunate.
And yeah, Blanks, as we can see, is really far behind on Midra compared to Mitch here. He has to go all the way from Shadowkeep now towards the Darklit Catacombs to Jory, where Jory just died already for Mitch. So this is definitely not looking good for Zoinxz right now. Currently 11-11, but as we know, CBD currently has advantage on NPC bosses and also advantage on Egon's Furled Finger with Vara's Bloody Finger.
Yeah, this is honestly such a back and forth between the two teams, and there is the Bloody Finger.
There's the marking. And now
yeah.
Zoodle is aggro, so he can't just... okay. And I don't think it necessarily matters here. This might just be a GG's.
Yeah, I mean,
This is going to come down
depends now a little bit. I think either way, no matter what they choose, like, I think Team Cool Bitches is ahead now.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Zoodle here looking like he's going for Gary, potentially.
It does look like he's going for NPC bosses now, but if he's going for NPC bosses, CBD does seem to be going for for the capital play.
Yeah, looks like CBD is like, all right, you know, I have 2 NPC bosses, but that means that I might not have as many as Zoodle. I don't know exactly. I don't want to race on that. I would like to confirm my 13th square to be hug 3 fingers and kill Midra instead. So it looks like we're going to have CBD going to capital here, where Zoodle is going to be doing NPC bosses now.
Yeah, very, very interesting match though. It ended up being pretty close, despite some of the incidences in this game, but
yeah,
it's very cool to see how much it can flip-flop even after something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, Zoinxz just made some really, really nice calls as a team, and sometimes nice calls make up for bad time. And that's exactly what we saw in this match, which was really, really, really neat. CBDriz, however, does have insane momentum on Hug the Three Fingers and kill Midra, and unless there is an incident, I don't see this falling apart anytime soon for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, Blank's taking his time, going down to Darklit Catacombs here, opening up that door. I do wonder what the damage difference is between Mitch and Blank's, because I don't think Mitch has the same amount of Skidoo levels, so I'm not sure how much, I guess, like, Blank's is outperforming Mitch's Dragon Scale Blade.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, since Mitch is also using the buffs, it might just, like, even out pretty much. But
yeah.
I would have to pay attention to the numbers.
Yeah, Blanks is at the very least 4, if not 5 minutes behind, and that's a huge time buffer. DTS here getting melted by CBD, and yeah, Gary being attacked in his little hut with his snails by Zoodle. Zoodle has to be careful here, though. Gary fighting back. There are no heals left. Oh, no.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
Uh-oh. That's such a hard fight as well with the
Zoodle.
snails. They're so annoying.
Zoodle.
Oh.
Well, the snails should be dead because he's using Holy, so he doesn't have to worry about
I guess that's fair.
Besides that one.
Well, I guess because Gary resummons them, I think, right?
Does he? I thought he just had like a weird time cycle. Oh, dude.
No.
Dude, Lamau snailed. Crazy,
That's
dude.
rough.
That's rough.
The snails. They're literally Gary's clutch. They always win for him. I think I've never had a problem with Gary himself, but the snails are always the ones that get you.
I've literally lost, I did some randomizer hitless runs. I've lost a randomizer hitless run to just the snail. Just creeping up behind me while I'm trying to find Gary. And I was so
brutal.
pissed.
I bet, yeah.
Yeah, so we're having Capital here. We have Midra's Mance now as well for Mitch. Midra's Mance for Mitch here, but then also Jory for Blanks. So he is slowly catching up, but I don't think that's really going to matter too much. Unless, like, Mitch is not comfortable with Midra. But I don't... Yeah. I think he is. I think there was, like, a speedrun thing for, like, killing Midra, too.
Yeah, there was, like, that I think was the Dist bounty, right?
Yeah, yeah, I think so, yeah.
Where, I don't remember why exactly, but you did have to kill Midra in that, so...
Was it all remembrances or something?
It might have been just all remembrances, probably, yeah.
Yeah.
That would make sense.
There we go, though. Gary is down.
Very nice.
And... Okay, memory of gracing out. I don't think he had to do that because Gary is the original...
The main boss?
Yeah, main boss. He's not the hidden boss, right? So he just threw away a bunch of money.
No, I think it's the other way. Isn't it the other way around? That, like...
Is Gary the hidden boss?
Somehow hidden and the main one is the invisible assassin?
Oh, okay, maybe.
But, I don't know, maybe I have it flipped.
Yeah, I'm not sure. That cave is weird.
Yeah, yeah. That sums it up.
But now we have Capital here. Both players at 2-on-2 for NPC bosses, but Zoodle is very far behind on getting into Capital compared to CBD because he's already in Capital. So, yeah.
Yeah, this is definitely... I mean, unless either CBD or Mitch have an insane incident, I think this is pretty much guaranteed for CBDriz now. Yeah, because Zoodle would still even have to kill DTS, make all his way through the capital, And yeah, Mitch is already in Midra's Mans while Blanks is still running. It's also such a long square. You have to walk for forever, and also without torrent in this part,
it's a rough map.
Yeah.
I do have to say, this is the longest match that we had all weekend, which is a kind of a good thing though. I think like the most intense matches are the longest matches.
Yeah, for sure. Because that means that no one got completely steamrolled, right? There was some way for the other team to fight back.
Yep. Yeah, that DTS damage is not looking too great. That's
yeah.
I don't think it has a fully upgraded though either. I don't think that's a +9. That can't be a +9.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, especially compared to what CBD was doing earlier against DTS, it's rough. Apparently it's a +5. Which makes sense for that damage, yeah.
Just didn't have time to fully upgrade it, I guess. Midra here for Mitch. I don't know why. Is it just me, or why does Midra look extra crisp on Mitch's screen? Like the colors are so. Like his head.
Might be specific settings that he uses. Or
yeah, I don't know. His head looks like very glowy.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's one part where we can really see Zudo's Market incident though. Because CBD had so much more time to get set up, to like upgrade his weapon and just run around and stuff like that, just chill, while Zudo pretty much just had to be go, you know? To just even try to catch up, which he did a good job of catching up. It ended up being a super close game, but yeah, just a little bit of damage missing now.
It would be crazy if CBD killed Morgott, though, and then just went for NPC bosses.
That would actually be insane. Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, there is Adon. There is Gary. There is Mimic Tier. Stray Mimic Tier, which they have access to as well. That's not that far away either. Who else? I guess Vike. If you really wanted to, but who the hell's gonna do Vike for that square? Who else? Who else am I thinking of? NPC boss. I think that's it.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really think of any other right now as well. There's already more than I could have thought of, so.
Esger. Oh, right. Yeah, the one that's like downstairs in the catacombs. Right. Yeah, but that catacomb sucks. You have to run through that for so long.
Yeah.
All right, Midra is dead now for Mitch, and Mitch literally has nothing to do.
Yep.
This is the first time we've had a player literally have nothing to do on the board.
Yeah. I guess that happened a few times in Season 3 as well, though, where like at some point it came down to the last squares and the other person just didn't have any progress towards that square, so they also just had to sit there and twiddle their thumb and wait for the other person to get it or not get it.
Yeah.
So
that's part of 2v2s, though. You know, you try to balance it as best as you can, and for the most part, this is pretty balanced. Like a lot of the matches, this is, like I said, this is the first time that a player has nothing to do. Most of the time, there is something that a player always is able to do with the co-op squares, which is really nice. So yeah, this is definitely the first time where he gets to go just have some water, stretch.
Very nice. Although I feel like that's almost more nerve-wracking because it's like all completely out of your control. You can't do anything anymore to like try to win, and you have to like, I mean, you already have to rely on your team partner a lot, but this just emphasizes it, and you just sit there and you're like, oh god, please.
At ease, soldier. Yeah, he's just hanging out in Midra's Mance. I mean, do you think like him killing Midra like makes him the new homeowner of the Mance? You know, do you just get to inherit the new house?
Nice. Can redecorate.
Yeah. Comes with the ghosts, but I mean, I think that's fine. And we have Midra's Mans now for blanks as well. Oh, and we do have a pivot.
Oh yeah, CBD going for the NPC bosses.
Potentially here. What is he? Where is he going? He's going for a Don. He is doing it. He is doing it. Bro, I called that shit like 3 minutes ago.
A Zoodle.
Dude, imagine Zoodle pivots now too. No fucking way.
I mean,
get the fuck out of here.
Like it.
What is happening?
So funny. I mean, I feel like CBD has it either way with the Morgoth.
I don't know if he does because Zoodle has taken out Gary. CBD didn't kill Gary yet, which is one of the. It takes a while to get there too.
I just meant the hug the three fingers. Like, even if Zoodle gets it now,
True.
I feel like Zoodle has to hold off on it a tiny bit longer. You know, like make CBD kill like this boss and then another like almost, and then get the last NPC boss, and then in that time maybe he could have killed Morgoth and then win. But yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
What a weird day.
It's very, very strange. Very strange matches, both of them. But I think that's a good sign for the format, you know? Strange matches are fun.
I do wonder, like, so Zoodle killed DTS, right? And they just, like, grabbed the Grace right outside of Capital and then pivoted? Is that exactly when that happened? I think so.
Yeah, he definitely didn't kill Goldfree yet, right?
Yeah, I don't know. He definitely didn't do that.
So...
Oh, no. Okay, CBD did pivot back off. He just killed Adon and then left again. Okay, I think he's going for Esger. I think he's genuinely going to go for Esger here.
I mean, I guess it gives him some progression towards, like, Sumo. You know? Yeah,
I think he's thinking, like, okay, I'll go for Esger, and if I lose out, I'm already in the sewers.
Yeah. So, I feel like that's the only case where you would ever want to go for Esger. But... not, well, you might just go for both now, though, as well.
Midra here now for blanks. Yeah, like genuinely at this point, unless there is an execution error on CBD's end, I don't think Zoinxz brings it back. I don't think they snipe any of this.
I don't think so either. Yeah, CBD is just going for Moog. I mean, would have been interesting if he did the Esgar, but I do think it makes more sense for him to just go with Moog and the finger hugging.
Yeah. Patches here for Zoodle. Going to be his 4th NPC boss.
Yeah. CBD is now going to Snailman. What? The pivot again. Oh my god, I can't take it anymore. Now Zoodle has to like hold off, but it is what it is.
It is what it is.
This is...
and what it is it's silly. That's what that is.
It's funny.
There we go. NPC bosses now. All right, Zoodle. Catch up.
Well, now CBD knows, okay, I just have to hug the fingers. But he doesn't know how much progress Zoodle has, of course.
It would have been the prime moment for Zoodle to mark that, though, would have been if CBD was in the cave, because then he would have to Memory of Grace out.
Yeah, yeah.
But, yeah, he still is sadly way too far behind. He still has to do 2 full boss fights before he actually gets the 3 fingers here.
And he, on top of that, has only a +5, while CBD has, I think, a fully upgraded weapon, right? So,
yeah.
Or at least +9. So I do think just by that, it's rough.
Yeah, see how fast this Moog Sewers fight's gonna go. And yeah, Blanks is done now too. He's gonna take a seat in Midra's Mance himself. DLC players are chilling
Nice.
right now.
I guess maybe we can see how they redecorate the mans, each of them, and then the actual win is who makes the nicer home.
You know, genuinely, I actually wouldn't mind if FromSoft ever added like your own house into Elden Ring, and depending on which bosses you kill or things that you find, you can put like artifacts into your house.
Oh.
You know, kind of like
Yeah,
how
that would be
Valheim has
cool.
it. If you kill a boss, you get like a trophy.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, the damage on Moog, not too bad though.
Oh no, this is a
Actually.
pretty quick fight.
Yeah. Very, very nice. Just has to not mess it up now, but it seems like he has it pretty much. And then he just needs to do the parkour and get hugged. Yep.
Yep. Yeah, there's really nothing else to really say. It's just CBD has to do the jumping puzzle now, and that's pretty much it. That's GG's. Oh, it would have been funny if he didn't grab the Grace, though, and then he screwed up the jumping puzzle.
Oh, yeah.
And then it was like all the way
That would be very
back.
funny.
That'd be kind of funny.
Yep.
A little bit of yumping time, chat. Where's my yumping at? Who's up yumping? I'm pretty sure everyone knows how to clear this at this point.
Yeah. I mean, I remember I lost a lot of hitless runs to this parkour at some point, and so I have like an actual setup with like using the compass to I don't know.
Really?
Way tuned, yeah. It's stupid. Oh, he died!
Oh!
Oh my god! So at first, I'm sorry. I can't help myself. Ah!
That is insane. All right, just 5 more of those.
Oh my.
Just 5
Well,
more
maybe-
of those, dude.
Maybe you should ask me for my setup.
Yeah. So just like writing that in Discord. So what you want to do?
Yeah. Well, you need to even punch the air, you know, to align yourself.
Dude, punching air is like always crazy to me in these games where it's like you can change your trajectory. So, oh no way.
Dumb.
Is he nervous? Maybe he's nervous.
He's probably nervous. Zuru is creeping up on Morgott now. Uh-oh.
Mhm.
Uh-oh, it's happening. This is the parkour incident.
That would be really funny. I won't
That
lie.
would be insane.
Oh, he's got it. He's got it. Yeah.
He has it
There
now.
it is.
No problem, no problem. We never doubted
All
him.
right. Get ready to stop the match. CBDriz winning the finals of the
GG.
exhibition weekend. There it is, 13-12, closing on out. Blanks practicing his lightning ram kills. There it is, though. There it is. Very close match. Very close match. Huge plays being made. Sadly, that Margit parry really bit him in the butt there for Zoinxz.
Yep.
Very unfortunate. Why? Okay, hold on a second. Why is the like swords? Isn't like the range like normally like really far out? That looks like a really small. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Might be this one.
Well, yeah, yeah. I don't know. Maybe phase 1 just has like a smaller range. Hot damn, though. Hot damn. I did not expect it to go all the way down to a full board.
Mm-hmm.
And the full board is an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Not bad, honestly.
Not bad at all. Checking with the players.
Yeah, I would be very curious to hear, especially about the first match. Like, I think that one was just
Yeah.
something.
A lot of interesting things happening. Are they all ready for post? I'll go ahead and move on over to the post game screen. Alrighty. Holy, what the hell was up with that? Bring in the players. Here we go. Welcome on in. Welcome on in, guys. GG's.
Hello.
GG's.
Yo, GG's,
Hello,
guys.
GG.
Well,
Well,
What a match.
That was certainly a match.
Unofficial tiebreaker tomorrow. Are we good?
So first match, that was definitely a bit of a different approach from both of you guys as teams. There where Team Zoinxz really had a strong early game, getting a lot of the early game squares, and putting a lot of pressure early on onto CBDriz. And then from there, kind of like pushing out that column 1, right? That had Finger Slayer Blade and then also a co-op square on there. And no one going for it. So I was kind of curious on match 1 here, what was the mentality from both Zoinxz and CBDriz, where you guys both played chicken with column 1 pretty much, just thinking like it was just too much of a time consumption for completing it, but also too much of a time consumption to try and block it. Like, what was the idea overall that was going on there?
for match 1 you're talking about?
Yes.
I honestly don't remember a whole lot from that game.
I don't remember.
What I do remember was we saw the row 1 had both Turtle Talismans as well as Chief Bloodfiend. So I was like, if I can get this Turtle Talisman, I can sit on Chief Bloodfiend for like a long time because there's no reason for me to ever go there. And so that was our plan from the start. And then afterwards, I think we wanted to work on just like blocking everything. And so we went for blocks in every row and column. And that was kind of our game plan. Once we got ahead, was just block everything.
Yeah, we kind of figured they were going to go for blocks over actually doing the lines. So we were not like scared of them trying to rush it per se. We were mostly just trying to kind of fight back from like, I got cooked early. I was lost and directionless. All I saw was like individual squares. I couldn't find any synergy. Blanks found the bit of synergy that existed because there was not a whole lot, and he just completely ran away with it. And I felt like I had nothing. I felt like I wasn't set up, and I was just like, I don't know what to do on this board. But yeah, we were not too scared of a particular bingo because we didn't figure that was their style.
What weapon did you use, by the way, Mitch, for that match?
I used the forked greatsword, and then I swapped to great katana.
Okay, I used the moon veil the entire time.
Yeah, I didn't even check there because I saw forked greatsword, and I'm like, greatsword, it has bleed, match made in heaven, I'm set.
Yeah.
I'm good. And then once I got great katana from ADM, I was like, even better. Love that weapon.
Yeah.
That is super fair. And for base game, you guys, I think, picked also different weapons where I think Zoodle stuck to the Great Stars class starting weapon for pretty much all of the match. And then CBD, you going for the Anvil Hammer, which I thought was a very ballsy move just in this case.
It wasn't ballsy because there was no other somber weapon.
Yeah, I mean,
like,
just more or less
I had to
stat
make it work.
And things,
Yeah, I probably should have spent more time looking, but like I think it was literally the only somber weapon that I found. So it was kind of the perfect seed for them to rush early squares because if you set up early, then you should get late squares early. But then since I didn't have the stats, it was perfect. Like for them to like have no somber weapons on that seed. So
gotcha. Would you say that that's your like mantra, I guess, for any kind of bingo is to always go for somber weapons regardless?
It depends on the board. I mean, like if there's not a lot of killing, then you don't really need it. But I guess setting up smithing doesn't take that long. I mean, fully upgrading it does, but like maybe like going halfway or something isn't that long. But
yeah, I had a +9 at some point.
Yeah.
With
so
great stars,
yeah, I couldn't wield the anvil for a while, so that's what put me behind.
That does make sense, though. I guess, like with you explaining, CBDriz explaining like why you guys didn't go for the blocks because you weren't expecting it, because that's just how Zoinxz plays. Because we were like, okay, are they gonna block it at some point? Like, it made sense not to block it right away, but like the longer it sat there, the more it was like, okay, well, at some point you're gonna have to at some point go for it, right? But no one ever really went for it. And it seemed like you guys were trying to like pick off squares first that you think that maybe they were going for, but just like with an earlier advantage to try and see if you could stop them from trying to create even more pressure first before really engaging with that threat on column 1.
Yeah, that was basically it. We knew we were really behind on the majority, and we didn't have a line to set up ourselves. So we kind of just had to fight back in the majority, and that did not end up working at all.
Yeah, it's a tough call. It's definitely a tough call. But then in game 2, obviously, kind of like flipped it on its head. Where CBDriz had a really strong early game. I think the first 3 or even 4 squares were marked by you guys. And then beyond that, hold on, let me just scroll through here real quick. The first 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, the first 4 were marked by you guys, acquiring the Hanging Pot Bell Bearings, the Caves or Grottos, DLC Ashes, and then Ancient Dragon Man. Way more of an early game rush for sure. For Zoodle, I had a question. Shield of Guilty, did you try putting parry on that at all?
No.
Okay. Because I wasn't sure.
I was not sure if I can. I think I was already at this point where I died so often. I was like, I don't have time to do more stuff, kind of thing. Which I had apparently, but yeah, I was basically just stuck on that market. We were worried about the diagonal. That's why I was so stuck on market the entire time.
Yeah. I mean, that's definitely like something that we brought up too. Is like, okay, if you're gonna lose out on one, you have to go for the other. I myself wasn't sure either, because when you picked up the Shield of Guilty, I was like, okay, well, I'm not sure if this is like one of those weird like somber shields that you can't swap out the Ash of War on.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And I felt like I have not the time to look that up, kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
So it was like, forgetful sin.
I think you can just tell that if you just look at the in your character page and you mouse over it, your equipment. If there's like a square next to the. Well, okay, whatever. You input your directional pad to the item in question. If you see a square, you can replace the Ash of War, and if you don't see a square, you can't.
Yeah.
Sounds like cheating to me, honestly.
Looking at your equipment,
looking at the inventory,
yeah.
Yeah.
So for BitchRiz, I spent like 15 minutes on market. I like died over and over and over, and I was like, whatever. Yeah.
So we wanted at the start, we wanted Caves and Grottos or the Bell Bearing. We wanted one of those squares, but I haven't practiced Bell Bearings in a long time, and when I saw Mitch mark it, I was not even close. I was like 40 seconds away from it. I don't know how you marked it that quickly, because I got the jump.
I full rushed it. I thought you were gonna full rush it, because like I figured, you had that like speed runner, like, oh yeah, my larval tears was 2 seconds off of optimal. So I was like, oh god, I have to like hard rush it. I don't know. I got there quick.
I think what killed me was I grabbed the ADM cave after I got the first bell bearing. I like was able to, you're not immediately locked in the invasion if you hug the right wall. So I just went for the ADM cave, and then that's what lost me the square, I think.
You went for the cave?
Yeah, I should have done the Prospect Town one first, because that way I could grab the cave after I marked the square.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah. And then I ended up losing out on ADM as well, so that kind of hurt me a lot. But I'm very happy with how I recovered. I pretty much got every other DLC square after that. Which,
you did. You
nice.
cooked me. I should have had the level 85, but I forgot that I didn't have the golden tender.
Yeah.
I just didn't have one, so I ended at level 81 after killing Mesmer. And I was like, oh, I'm so stupid. I had it. I 100% had it, and I just forgot.
Yeah. I think we just kind of had a meltdown in the first like 15 minutes, and then we just kind of locked in and played pretty well for the rest of the match.
Yeah, the switch up was definitely very surprising, but also very cool to see, of you guys making just like really right calls, especially that Putrescent Knight snipe was, I think, a big time sink.
How close was that?
I was in the fight, I died, and then you marked it. So like,
gotcha.
I didn't have it anyway, but I had him under half, and I was like about to head back into the fight.
I went through Elak River instead of ADM Cave, because I had the idea that you were like, oh, I have prio because I killed ADM, but I just went through River.
That was my exact thought, and so I held on to it for a little while, and then I thought it was finally time to cash it in, and you sniped it, and I was like, oh my god, that's like 5 7 minutes wasted or whatever.
Sink. Yeah,
might even be 10. I don't know.
Was Skadu close at all, or?
If I got Gaius, I think I was around having enough. I might have had to grab like just a couple more after Gaius, but yeah, I wasn't necessarily that close, because I went for Mesmer first for level 85, and then I ruined that, so then I gave up both.
And what was
I'm
the
really
like?
happy with...
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Zoodle.
No, you're the host.
No, you're fine. Go ahead, man.
No, I'm just really happy how we, after the beginning, actually pulled through, and at the end I only went for NPC bosses because I wanted a full board because it looks cool. No, that was
True.
really cool. The beginning was really rough. I had a bad Soldier of Godric, that's why I lost the cave.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously the market thing, but it went quite well then. Yeah, no, I'm happy with how it turned out.
So when it came to the late game for you guys, what was the like overall talking points, right, of what squares to really focus on and what squares you thought were really important? Because there was a lot of pivoting that was happening in the late game, you know, between Smithing Stone weapon, NPC bosses, and the co-op squares that were left.
Yeah, so we were thinking, so what we mostly were talking about is if we just should watch the mainstream or not, but we decided not to.
Oh yeah.
But at the end, I was like behind on everything, I felt like, so I was like, I just need to go for something.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was just at the very, I don't know, at some point it was just really difficult to go for anything because we had to basically guess, right, what could work and what not. There was a point in the middle, I don't know, maybe it didn't seem like it on the mainstream, but for us at least, it looked like we could maybe pull it back. But
You tied it up at a certain point. We were literally tied in
We
squares.
were up by 1. Yeah, we were up by 1.
Yeah, then you guys were
Yeah.
up by 1. Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys definitely were cooking for sure.
But then, yeah, it just was not enough, I guess.
Yeah.
I think the splitting progress that both CBD and Mitch did at the end of the late game definitely made a difference for sure. Where Mitch pretty much split progress on both of the co-op squares and then went ahead for the last, DLC square, which was clear to Everjails or clear to jails. And in case he ever, if he did get sniped on that, he already had progress on both co-op squares just to make sure that he covered some ground. And I think that helped out a lot too.
Yeah, I did. Blanks, did you go for jails? Like, at what point did you start going for them? Because I thought you were gonna mark it like significantly earlier than you did. Were you also splitting progress when we had just had like 4 squares left that we could do?
When I think what I did was, so we were going for remembrances after I killed Persistent Knight. So Zoodle killed the moose, and then I killed the lion, and then I just rushed jails after that, pretty much.
Okay, I thought you had gotten your remembrances a lot earlier, and you were going for jails immediately after. So I kind of just gave up on it for a while, and only like came back to it later when I didn't have much else to do.
Yeah, I did PK, Rolana, Lion, Mesmer, and Gaius. Those are my remembrances. So I was pretty busy doing that.
Yeah.
Well, man, hey, GG's to both of you guys and CBDriz for winning in the finals here. You know, GG's that is awesome. And yeah, if you guys have any feedback, you're welcome obviously to send me some messages on what you think is good and what you think what should be changed or whatever, what you guys like and don't like about the format. This was a format showcase, chat, so keep that in mind, please. Don't be too picky slash uptight about how the matches went, or if there were like minor rule breaks or whatever. It doesn't really matter. It was more or less a showcase of the format and people like showing the cool squares and seeing how it all feels together. We'll start up top here. Zoinxz, Zoodle and Blanks. This is your last match. I mean, this is everyone's last match. Zoodle and Blanks, if you guys want to give me like your like breakdown of how everything went for you, and then also what you guys are working on in the future, and shout yourself out.
Do you want to go first?
Blanks, go ahead.
Want me to go ahead? Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess I'll go first with, I'll say thank you to Zoodle for being my teammate as well. Thank you, Domo, for inviting me for this weekend. I had a lot of fun, actually. I've never done like a 2v2 format ever. I played a couple of 2v2s back in season 4. A couple of times, not too much, but I think this format's really cool. I think it has a lot of potential. And as far as what I'm working on, I am currently going to be at GDQ with Domo, going to be running a Monster Hunter Wilds bingo, which is super exciting. So I'm going to be preparing for that at some point, as well as Bloodborne. That's also going to be at SGDQ this year. So those two are like my big 2 projects. And otherwise, I'm just going to be doing Elden Ring, like randomizer stuff and just like, filler chill events until then. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed my performance in this event, and thank you guys. And you can go now, Zoodle.
Yeah, I honestly have to say that this weekend and the format itself, honestly, best 2v2 format for Elden Ring existing. I feel like season 3 compared to this was absolute fucking dog shit. I really enjoyed I really enjoyed, like, it was chaos and everything, and this was cool. It was really I really like this. And I can see how this is a lot of fun with other people as well, like, you know, mixing teams and whatnot. I think as for like feedback for the format, I think the only thing I would say is here once again more combined squares, like variety, right? And then would be maybe in the future, if there's a season, more EU people, so there's actually someone to practice. So I don't, you know, don't need to be awake. It's yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
No, it was really well thought through. I really enjoyed this one. Honestly, it was great. And when it comes to me, I'll be working now again on the randomizer god run, the permadeath god run, to steal that away from Domo, so I get that before him. And then we'll be working on Randomania, a charity event again for August.
Nice.
That's what I'm working on. And yeah, and of course the bounty pop. We have Tom talked about it yesterday. We have our first prize pool bounty going on, a Night Rain inspired bounty for everyone to join. $500, guys, get it. Check it out on the website, bountypop.club. And yeah, GG's to Cool Bitch Riz for winning here this. I really enjoyed the matches. Thank you, Bushy again, Papa Reef, and Dr. Dudes for the commentary, and Domo for hosting. I really appreciate the weekend. I think we should have more weekends like that, honestly. Fuck seasons, let's have more weekends. All right, that's it.
Ooh.
Sounds good. Thank you, Zoodle. Appreciate it, man. And CBD and Mitch, go ahead, guys. Whatever you're working on. Also, like, if you have any feedback, obviously go for it.
Yeah, I guess I'll go first. Yeah, I mean, I thought this format was really a lot of fun. I think the 2v2 is really good. I really like the 2v2. I definitely agree with more variety on the co-op squares, but I mean, I think, like, obviously it just hasn't had as much time to make, you know, 100 squares that we have for the base game and the DLC.
When I got the feedback for the co-op, I literally wrote like 2 days before the matches started, like 30 squares or like 20 squares. I was like, this is all I got right now. I can't think of anything else right now, you know?
And they're great. And they are really great, the ones that you've got so far. And keep cooking on those and make more, and it'll be even better.
Yeah.
I would also, you know, I would love to see also maybe some slight twists on it, but I don't know, maybe that's asking for a little too much. Like something where either player can complete like a really late objective rather than it being both players have to complete an objective. So like it could be kill consort or kill, I don't know, Elden Beast. Maybe that's too far, but you know, some sort of like, you know, something like that maybe could be interesting in either or. So it's one of those last squares, but it makes it so whoever's kind of done and sitting there doing nothing is like, I'll go for the super extra late game square or something.
Yeah.
Maybe that's too much, but yeah, I think that might be interesting. What I've got going on, I'm also going to be at Summer Games Done Quick. I'll be doing 2 showcases, Sekiro, All Bosses Glitchless, and Get to Work, which is a rage game, one of those games where if you miss a jump, you fall all the way down, and streamer rages into the camera and chat laughs, that kind of a game. And then also, I'm really looking forward to Night Rain coming up, of course. And then what I'm going to be working on right now is either practicing for SGDQ, doing all bosses randomized deathless, which I have been working on but haven't quite gotten yet. Or Kazan came out with some new super tough boss rushes. So those are kind of the general things that I'm doing. And yeah.
Very nice. CBD.
This was a fun weekend, dude. I was hesitant about the a combination of DLC and base game at first, just because I was worried about, I don't know, like one side finishing and then the other side having to wait. That didn't really happen too much. It happened in this one kind of, but like it doesn't take too long to wait, I think, most of the time. But I really did like this format. I like 2v2s a lot, just in general. Like the 2v2 format is really good. Yeah, and the fact that you got, because I noticed that too. Like you kind of just put a whole bunch of like squares, combo squares, like a few days before we started. That was pretty good. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure with more cooking, we can think of more in the future. So all in all, this is great. I love bingo. So, also, I guess for what I'm doing, until Night Rain comes out, I mean, because everyone's gonna be playing Night Rain. Until Night Rain comes out, I'm gonna be putting something that I've been saying for like 2 years or so to the test, and I've always claimed that I could teach or coach someone to get their first no-hit run in Elden Ring in less than 2 weeks. So I'm going to be putting that to the test, and I'm going to be coaching the streamer Ellie Noor to get her first no-hit run in Elden Ring before Night Rain. So if that sounds interesting, then I guess check it out, because or I'm going to look stupid and I can't actually coach people that well. So yeah.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Lamau.
Sounds exciting, man. All right. Well, with that being said, thank you so much for playing, guys. I do appreciate it. I hope you guys have a good rest of your Monday. And maybe we'll see you guys again for another Elden Ring bingo weekend event / possibly season 5.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you, Domo.
No problem.
GGs, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for having
Bye-bye,
us.
man.
Bye-bye.
GGs.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, and with that, that is the finale of good old Elden Ring bingo weekend. And okay, I was just Zoodle being Zoodle. Yeah, thank you so much everyone for watching. Thank you, Pup, for popping in for the commentary as well. Really do appreciate it. Pup, if you want to go ahead and let us know what you're working on as well. Yeah, whatever projects you're working on before we close it out.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Honestly, I was very nervous throughout, but it was very, very fun. I think, yeah, the 2v2 format I think is awesome, because especially for people who struggle with nerves and stuff like myself, it helps a lot having someone to talk to. I think you guys were talking with Parky about that during an interview as well.
Yeah.
But, like, yeah, just it's really nice, and I think combining DLC and base game is really, really fun. So yeah, thanks for having me be part of it. And for what I'm up to next is I'm actually going to be prepping for the European version of GDQ soon, because I have a run with Kata there. We're going to be doing some 2-player 1 controller Elden Ring randomizer stuff, which also, speaking of randomizers, that's what I mostly do, I guess, nowadays. At the moment, stuck in Dark Souls 2 hell.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also joining Zoodle with trying to snatch that rando god run, obviously, one day, you know? This is,
Dude, hey, if you guys get it,
Declaration
you know, props to you. That shit's hard, man.
Oh, it's so hard.
I've been learning DS2 now for like the last like week and a half. It's fun though. I told chat, like, normally DS2, I do not like DS2. But like rando DS2 is kind of freaking fun. Like, it's pretty damn enjoyable. So, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I've been really enjoying that a lot.
Yeah,
pretty sick.
it's very fun, very cursed.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Thanks again for putting this on.
Yeah, sounds great. Yeah, no worries. No worries. Appreciate you joining us today. And we'll go ahead